Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello, how's it going?
Don't ask too much. James Farley is here.
祝你们新年快乐.
Good point, James.
Sure.
Fucking agree with that. And thank you for opening the show with a strong comment like that. I really
Big
appreciate
10-4,
it.
mate, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, nice one. Patreon producers this month, they are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap. That's the one full Nels member there.
We
did have a
that
few
question on Discord saying, is it Aaron Patrick, comma, the next one is called the QuickBooks chap? No, it's
it's
the one.
Aaron
It's
Patrick,
one guy.
the QuickBooks
and
chap.
he did explain, we never talked about this, he did explain a while back that that's actually like a joke for another podcast that he's also a patron of. So it's like we had the whole discussion about, he's trying to fucking plug something. No, it's not even, it's nothing to do with us.
Right, Simon Nelson, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Gabsy Wabsy, Rocketman76, Rect Reese, Happy Birthday Sam, Love from Nil, aka Bitch and Sink, Grey Dragon Claw, and Fred Fenge. Thank you so much for supporting us on patreon.com/TCGS, and thank you so much for joining the elite, the full Nels crew.
Do we
appreciate y'all?
So at time of recording, it's the 31st of January. Do we need to message Neil, aka Bitch in Sync? Because
No,
all right.
I'm waiting for it to come around like to the next year.
exactly.
Maybe
like,
that's what he's. Yeah.
That's
Maybe that's
what
the
we're
plan.
going for. I mean, thank you everyone that supports us on Patreon. It really does help us keep things going, and we're really excited with what we've got planned for next month. So if you would like to support us and listen to a bonus show, watch a live talks along, or join the Full Nels crew, then go to patreon.com/TCGS. Before we go to the feedback, couple of things to talk about this week before we get going. The first being, I met up with you, Sean.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
That was nice.
When I knocked on the door,
Yeah.
and because we went down to Sam White's house, we'd arranged to go for lunch.
Yeah.
And when I knocked on the door and you opened it,
Yeah.
you gave me the biggest hug I've had in ages, right? Which I bet you're regretting now because we found out that Harry's got COVID. So
That's the point. Yeah.
Although-
Well, I've
although
already had it. I'm immune.
yeah, you got fresh immunity now, haven't you, mate? But it was so nice. And then you said to me, it's been 2 years. And I was like, really? We've not seen each other for over, 2 years?
Yeah, was it not
When was
September 2019? So it's over 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that the last
That's the
time
one.
we actually
That was
saw each
EGX.
other?
Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It didn't feel that long, I must admit.
No.
I mean, we do talk to each other way too much.
Well,
but yeah, no, it's really weird. But it was great. It was great seeing you. Although
Yeah, man.
I was very conscious that we were talking about this show quite a lot throughout lunch and to and from
Talking
the
shop.
venue.
Talking
It's
shop,
so
mate.
weird, isn't it? Because we've not seen each other for so long, and it
Hmm.
was kind of like we've got a lot to talk about.
Well, because obviously, so we were with Sam White and Joe Scrabbles, and obviously they're, proper games media people, so we're like, yeah, fuck it, we'll talk about our shitty
showies.
show. Come and roll around in the mud with us, you pricks. Like,
yeah. No, Joe and Sam are really nice about the podcast that
They are,
they'd
to be
been
fair,
listening. So no, it was great. It was just great to get out of the house, Sean. I'll be honest with you.
I was
it so
somewhere other than 10 minutes from where I was born. That was weird.
I was somewhere other than my bedroom. Yeah, really, really weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, lovely. And we played a bit of Windjammers, but we'll get
did.
to that in what you've been playing because I've got a lot to say on that game. Also, we have an update for you for those of you that listened to last week's show that like the sound of this meetup in Sheffield to play Laser Quest, possibly some mini golf, possibly some VR escape rooms, and almost definitely a live show. I am pretty confident that this is going to happen now, and I'll tell you why. We were talking about it. We sort of said we'll mention it on the show last week and see what the reaction would be like. And then, if there seems to be much of a buzz for it, we'll go. There's been so many of you get in touch saying that you want to come that I think it's almost definitely going ahead. I've got a meeting this week with some people that can make it all happen. So I will give you an update as soon as we know more information. I had the day after we posted the podcast up, I had a voicemail on my phone first thing in the morning from Ian Lee saying that he wants to come. So it's looking like Ian's going to be there. And he's also said that he wants to do some stand-up before the live show. So this might turn into like a proper event, this thing. I'm so excited. Like, I'm properly excited about it. And what's funny is that every time I speak to, I don't know if they want their name said, but every time I speak to the manager of the Laser Quest, it just drops in more and more stuff that I'm kind of like, oh, this is just too perfect not to do. It's too perfect not to do. Oh, there's a gaming bar next door, is there? Yeah? Oh, they're doing a happy hour for us when we get there, are they? Like, it's just, it just sounds too good. So if that interests you, definitely keep an eye on our Twitter feed, tcgs.co, and then make sure you listen to the podcast because we'll be talking about it once, as I said, once we start nailing things down, getting dates together. It's looking like it might have to be a ticketed event. So we'll give you enough time to announce when the tickets are going to go up. But yeah, I mean, keep your eye out. I've seen so many people saying that they're coming to this thing, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun.
But we might have to do 3 or 4 dates.
yeah, we do. What do they call it? What do they call it? Like a residency. Laser Quest. We got a 3 months residency. Come every Saturday night. TCGS night.
This is where the idea was. It's TCGS Con, but it's like TCGS Con North. It's what this one is.
Yeah, TCGS Con North. So it might not go ahead. Let's see how it goes. Right, feedback from last week's show, Matt. I loved it. I see.
Yeah, yes and no. Pie Trick has messaged. Hi lads.
Matt, really? Pie Trick?
Pie Trick?
Pie Trick.
Polish. That's not a name I recognise, so I was just going.
Yeah, I'll be honest with that. I wouldn't recognise that name. Sean,
I
love a Matt bashing.
Pietrick.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Hi, lads.
Wait, hold on, Matt. Did you just write something down then?
No.
It sounded like you wrote that down like on a whiteboard or something.
Yeah, I've got one.
He's put a post-it note on his computer.
I thought it could be Pietrick, but then it's IE, so I thought it doesn't matter. Right. Hi, lads. I have 2 small corrections/comments regarding David's talk about unpacking. 1, a diaphragm is a form of birth control, and nobody corrected him, so I think he's the smart one of the group.
That's right, but I used it in a completely wrong context.
Well, yeah. Plus, Dave was sort of implying that it was something obscene. And there's nothing obscene about birth control methods.
No,
we're all grown-ups.
Diaphragm, right, hold on. Isn't the diaphragm, isn't that now seen as, a bit, I don't know, it is a comedy vehicle, isn't it now, right? Because isn't it, really old-fashioned way of doing it? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about sex. I'm not... I haven't had lots of it.
Do you want to get into it now?
I don't know what really happens. I thought that was, isn't that not okay? Right.
I think it is. I think it's a less common one now. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha. Less common.
Yeah, it's not it's not the chest muscle or
it's both.
The skeletal. It's not that. It's also the other thing. I think we're fine with what we said.
Well, also, if you're thinking of diaphragm in terms of the muscle underneath your lungs, I wouldn't describe that as chest muscle.
No, I googled it. I was trying to take bits.
I don't know. I mean, I would go whatever Matt's just said because I just saw him highlight the word and he's clearly Googled it, so he's probably got better information.
I want to know which one came up first on Google, and the first one is the definition of the thin skeletal muscle that sits at the base of the chest.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
See,
okay.
So I think we win, Pietro. Right, number 2. He said that the player should be allowed to put stuff where they want. This is obviously back on unpacking, but there are parts in the game where you have to put a thing somewhere that gives it a narrative punch, something only games and interactivity can do. So while it could be a tiny bit frustrating in the first couple of levels, I thought it was worth it for that. Love the show. Thanks for recommending Nathan for you.
Yeah, no problem. That you absolutely watch Nathan for you. It's amazing. And you're right. I got to that bit where you have to put one thing in a place for narrative reasons. It was alright. I don't think I'm going to play it anymore.
Sounds like it really affected you.
Did you not finish it? No.
I think I'm like 2 levels away from finishing it.
So yeah, that wasn't me saying like, oh, I can't believe you've not finished it. I'm aware it's meant to be very short, so I wasn't sure if you had or not.
It's not that short. I mean, I suppose it is pretty short, but you are doing the same thing over and over again, so it does feel like it's taking forever.
And plus, I suppose, like, if you know it's only ever going to get more complicated and more drawn out, so if you're already feeling like you want to tap out, it's not going to get any better for you, is it, I suppose?
No, I tell you what it is. I got to a level where, because I was getting this thing where I finish a level and go, oh, thank God that's done. You press next level and there's loads of boxes again, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. So I did one, and I moved into this place. There was loads of room for stuff that I was unpacking, and I thought I won't go into it because I guess it gives away the narrative or whatever. But it's a big place with loads of room, and I thought, this is good. It's not doing that thing that I thought it was going to do, where it's going to get harder and harder to put things in. You know what I mean? Like, clearly this character has more space in her life now, and I can put things places. This is really cool. Okay, I'm into this. And then the next level was the same house, but with more boxes. And I was like, okay, that's not what you're doing. Okay, fuck this. And then I sort of tapped out and didn't do it anymore. So, I know you can also turn that off. Someone told me that you can turn, we've
got the next bit of feedback, actually.
Go on, sorry.
So SMW, unpacking feedback, probably the 100th person to message about this, but there is an option in unpacking to turn off the everything in the right place checks. I quickly turned it off as I found it ruined the narrative I was building for the character in my head. For example, when they get older, I wanted to hide some of the cuddly toys, thinking that they had grown embarrassed by them, but also couldn't quite part with them. These made-up stories are what I enjoyed the most, and I wish the game embraced it more. I'd love to see a sequel that allows free-flow unpacking and analyses this to create branching narratives. Prominently displaying holiday items as a child, for example, may lead to more signs of travel in adulthood, or focusing a childhood desk on a specific subject could affect future career development, etc. Unpacking each pair of knickers was definitely annoying. SMW.
Yeah, I'd say that, fair enough, I'd miss that option. However, I will say that option is hidden away in the accessibilities section of the menu. It never tells you that that's an option at the start of the game. And when you go to turn it on, it goes, whoa, no, hold on a minute, you can't. Are you fucking sure? What
do they call you?
It says, this removes the puzzle element of the game, and I thought there's nothing puzzling about it. There's no puzzle involved in you got it in the wrong room. But as the previous listener said, that there are narrative reasons for wanting you to put certain items in certain places. But
it's interesting, like between those two messages, obviously, one person pointing out that they've played it in a way that they appreciated that the game steered them towards like certain narrative points, and then another saying, well, actually, I was trying to do my own, thank you. And it's just interesting, isn't it?
I would say this, though, right? If you're doing it, like the game, it's trying to tell you the narrative through what you're doing. And if the point is that actually this person doesn't want this out in the open, they want it hidden away, right? Why then am I putting it, like, say, up on the wall, and then the game's going, nah, that's not where you want it. Oh, but the idea is that she put it on the wall, but you're telling me she doesn't want it. So that kind of, okay, all right, whatever, delete. I don't know, man. Look, listen, I've heard a lot of people fall in love with this game. A lot of people have even said that it was their game of the year for last year. Me not liking it has no effect on that, and I'm happy for you. But I just, I had to tap out in the end.
Cool. Hakon Lingstad, still probably top 3 names for me of listeners.
Yeah, my boy.
By the way Dave is trying to defend stones and gallons and yards and whatnot is absolutely ludicrous. He comes off as cross and incapable of independent reflection, constantly interrupting Dr. Farley's perfectly understandable explanation as to why he's gotten used to the far more superior metric system. Try embracing science, logic and enlightenment for a change, Dave, instead of clinging to dated tradition. That being said, still laughed at the irrelevant bit.
Right, hold on. Linkstad, what you've done there is you've not listened to the podcast, because last week I clearly pointed out that yards and all that stuff is ridiculously stupid, and the metric system makes way more sense. And what you've done there is you've taken me just saying stuff to wind James up as my actual opinion. Because I don't know if you noticed last week, I had just a little tweak of James, and I think this is a really sore point for you, isn't it, James? It seems to set you off when I wind you up about it.
No, I don't care. It's fine.
Okay, you don't care. Okay.
Sounds like you're not bothered at all.
Very
I'm not at
convincing.
all bothered. Yeah.
And listen back to last week's show. Make your own mind up. But no, I am fully aware of how stupid the whatever system. What is it they call it? The Imperial system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous. But what can you do? Winds James up. Do you know what I mean?
Right, Rob the Toffee. Bonus show suggestion. Hi team, love your shows and your bonus shows. Just a thought for a segment if you are after ideas. We're not, so let's move on. No. How about the four of you do the Fantasy Critic League for 2022? It's still early enough in the year for it to work. I know that Kind of Funny do it, but they have no banter, so it doesn't just work, and they never reference it throughout the year. The chemistry with you four competing against each other with monthly updates would be brilliant. Sean would likely pick the indie gem, Matt would probably only go for blockbusters, James I can see being suckered in my Nintendo, and David going with a broad spectrum. You could do a draft episode and then do a monthly update on the games you bid on. Just an idea, but I think it will make great comedy to listen to. Thanks again for all the shows. Rob
What is this? I don't understand.
I was going to say, cause, so I've not heard the Kind of Funny thing, but is this? I know I've heard of other shows that do this with like films and stuff, where essentially at the start of the year, everyone has like a budget, and you have to sort of bid on certain films or games in our case, and there's like different categories, so like like highest grossing or like most awards, stuff like that, and you're all sort of bidding against each other.
Right.
Is this not? I mean, Matt, do you know how Kind of Funny do it? Is that pretty much?
I haven't actually heard Kind of Funny shows.
Okay.
They do this, but I assume the same kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Look, all I'll say is that I'm not in the business of nicking other people's ideas. Do you know what I mean? We've come out with some crackers ourselves. We don't
leave
need
that to video game.
Yeah. Still can, don't I? Right, go on.
Hugh. No, I haven't listened to those though, but I don't know. Maybe.
I gather it does work. Like it is a good format.
That's the best thing you could say.
No, I'm just saying. Well, no, I say it's not something I've listened to myself. I'm aware we're sort of moving on from it, but I just want to be clear that it is a thing other shows do, and apparently it is entertaining.
Sean, just the delivery of that was just perfect. I will say I have heard of this idea, and it does work.
It does work. It's technically functional.
Thanks for the suggestion.
Oh, we've got another Imperial versus Metric email. Hugh, I don't often pause the podcast to send you an email, and I can't believe I'm doing it about measurements and conversions, but Sean, 1
hectare.
Oh,
hectare.
God. 1 hectare is 10,000 square meters. Surely it's easier talking to a farmer about his 15 hectare field rather than his 150,000 square.
It's a hectare, right? Not a hectare.
Yeah, it is. But everyone does. No one says hectare when I work because they get punched. You sound too posh. Hectare.
So it's a hectare.
Shut up. Hectare.
Right.
Yeah, it's it got really confusing when Hector joined the office, though.
15 hectares. Anyway,
Okay, I'll start again. Sean, 1 hectare is 10,000 square meters. Surely it's easier talking to a farmer about his 15 hectare field rather than his 150,000 square meter field or his 0.5791 square miles field. At least hectares are an improvement on acres. 4,046 square meters. I don't even know why this made me angry. Anyway, love the podcast. Appreciate you all from Hugh.
Well, Hugh, I mean, if that made you angry, you're going to hate the explanation.
Go on.
I didn't know that's how big a hectare was. No,
Did you not? I mean, I didn't know either.
Never occurred to me to look that up for some reason. No one's
I
ever told
measure in
me.
square meters and then convert it. That's what I do. Oh God, this is really boring, isn't it? Yeah. Also, Sean, we totally fucked that.
What?
Why did we say what that was when Matt was struggling? I would have loved
left
to
it,
go.
Yeah.
1 ha is 10,000 square meters. Go on.
Kurt Lewin. Hi, chaps. More one for the feedback section, this, but I was wondering if James could clarify what he meant about a mobile version of Game Pass for a small monthly fee after the acquisition of King, with mobile not really operating in that area right now. Given that all King games are free to play, I'm not sure how it would work unless it was something like you got a certain amount of in-game currency to spend in each game each month. Or did James mean it would be like normal Game Pass using xCloud on mobile? That could happen, but I don't think they would charge a lower price for it. Honestly, I'm not trying to dunk on James here, just genuinely asking what he meant. Sure.
That's bullshit. That last line was bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally
It's a great question, actually.
I feel like we've had a lot of
James.
feedback lately that's like, I promise I do like the show, but
Yeah, but you're all fucking idiots. But when you were discussing who's the thickest last week, the answer is all of you. Go on. James, what's your response?
So my response to that is I'm not talking about games that are out right now. I'm talking about stuff that maybe they're going to use King to develop, like Microsoft properties or whatever, that will then appear on like for mobile. And that's one of the reasons they wanted King, is so that they can expand using their properties into mobile as well, which may then form part of a Game Pass subscription.
James, that was superb reply to that. Superb reply. Don't fucking believe it. I think you forgot that most of their games were free to play.
Okay,
and
David.
this is you responding in Captain Hindsight, I believe, is the current phrase doing the rounds. Go on, what was it?
How could I forget that mobile is all just free to play stuff?
He's very keen to point that out every
moment.
opportunity he gets. He definitely knows that. So, yeah, he's got a point.
Okay, yeah, but he forgets a lot of stuff when he gets heated. That's the thing. When he's on this podcast, he goes, I never said that. James, you said it 3 seconds ago. We just need... The listeners just need to hit the rewind 15 seconds button and they can hear you say what you're saying you didn't say.
Do you know, it was funny the other day, like Asher was doing exactly the same thing. And like Chen looked at me and she was just denying that he'd said stuff that he'd already said. And then Chen was like, I wonder where he gets that from. And
the tears,
like his old
tear
man.
rolled down your eye. and then Chen said, why are you crying? You said, I'm not.
That's my boy.
Right, is that it for the feedback?
That's it for feedback. Yeah, if you want to leave us feedback, go to tcgs.co/deartcgs.
I mean, if you're looking down at your podcast player and seeing that this is a 20-hour show, it's because of this. James, time for the news.
Yeah. So people are... You see, we haven't even started... Okay, before we started recording...
He doesn't even know how to begin the news section.
No. I just wanted to give
much news in here.
I know.
You're,
I just
buzzing.
I just wanted to give like a little thing. Like I had done this already. Like it was all ready to go, and then obviously there's a whole bunch of things happen like just before we record. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, great! At least it's happened before we record this time."
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Is it? I mean, it just adds to all the stuff that we've got to talk about, and then it's the show.
Do you remember last week's show when we were going like, do you remember what happened? But like over a week ago, do you remember that? God, what are your opinions, guys? Like,
yeah, no, but then that was quite good because then you can have like a more measured conversation about it after you've just
having measured
conversations,
James. We don't know what we're talking about.
We had a comment on Twitter or Discord saying, it's quite nice that a few days have passed because rather than just hot takes from everywhere else, there was a bit more thinking behind it. Whereas this week,
yes, that was James Farley's alt-account on our Discord,
we should just
Matt.
leave some of these for next week.
No, let's not leave some of these for next week.
That's a new tactic. We just report on all the news a week late.
A week later, yeah. We'd be like Edge.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the first story is that, well, this just broke just before we were recording, kind of, is that Sony are buying Bungie for $3.6 billion.
Whoa! This was... I found this more exciting than the Bethesda one, and I think because...
Bethesda or Activision Blizzard one?
Sorry, the Activision Blizzard one, yeah. I saw the Activision Blizzard one, and I was excited about it, but I was kind of like, well, they are acquiring a lot of stuff. This isn't like out of nowhere, even though it was. No one was expecting it, obviously, but people were expecting Microsoft to make some big acquisitions. I never expected PlayStation to announce today that they were buying fucking Bungie.
I know,
That's mad.
I was expecting it was going to be Microsoft were going to do this, because there's been...
I was going to say, because, has any other developer been owned at various points by both Microsoft and then Sony?
I mean, you got Rare were owned by Nintendo and then Microsoft.
That's true.
That's right. That is true. Yeah, look how that panned out.
Yeah, brilliantly. They made Sea of Thieves, Dave.
And they worked
Why is everyone laughing?
Every opportunity.
Connect Sports was very good.
And
That was actually pretty good, James.
Yeah. I know it was. I'm not
Defend
good,
fucking
James.
Connect Sports. Fucking hell.
And all those avatars as well. There were some good avatars.
Oh, yeah.
You want to see what the bottom of an avatar looks like? Well, bam. There it is. No, this is interesting, isn't it?
Shall I read all the stuff so that we got
because some of the stuff in the statement was a bit weird, I thought, and I put this in the WhatsApp group, and I still find it a little bit weird. But let's go.
Okay, so Bungie will be an independent subsidiary of SIE that's going to be run by a board of directors consisting of the current CEO and chairman, Pete Parsons, and the rest of the studio's current management team. And then Sony has said that Bungie will remain a multi-platform studio with the option to self-publish and reach players wherever they choose to play. And then this is what Jim Ryan says about it. He says, "We've had a strong partnership with Bungie since the inception of the Destiny franchise, and I couldn't be more thrilled to officially welcome the studio to the PlayStation family. This is an important step in our strategy to expand the reach of PlayStation to a much wider audience. We understand how vital Bungie's community is to the studio and look forward to supporting them as they remain independent and continue to grow. Like Bungie, our community is core to PlayStation's DNA and our shared passion for the gamer and building the best place, blah, blah, blah." Then it says, then Pete Parsons said that SIE supported the studio's dual goals of making generation-spanning entertainment while staying creatively independent. So that's like the main sort of quotes from both sides over this.
Right. So, I'm not quite sure about the fact that they can publish independently. They can put their games on whatever systems they want. That's the stuff that I'm finding confusing, and
Why?
I'm wondering whether we're entering an era where we've got Sony and Sony and Microsoft bartering for games to be released on the other systems.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
When I saw this,
What do you think this is like an arms race in terms of like, oh well, if you're not going to give us Call of Duty, you're not getting the next Bungie game?
Like that's how it feels, right?
When I saw this, my first thought was, okay, they bought this to stop Microsoft buying them. Basically, it's like, and they've done it so that it's like, okay, maybe it's not a huge amount of money, but they're saying, you can be completely independent, we'll leave you alone or whatever. But then also, this is to create a differentiator as well, where they just say, yeah, their games are definitely going multi-platform. Like, we're not doing what Microsoft are doing and being really coy on the whole thing.
That's true.
And that's one of the reasons for doing this.
Yeah, like you do wonder. I mean, $3 billion's a lot, obviously, but you do wonder if it's like, is this just something they've done purely as an optics thing? Like, everyone's sort of going, well, that's it. Bethesda and Activision Blizzard stuff is no way it's going to PlayStation anymore. So for Sony to then turn around and go, well, we've bought a studio and we're happy to it all to stay multi-platform. What's the big deal, man?
Possibly. I don't think it's 100% that, because I think Bungie, all right, Destiny, you hear Bungie, you think Destiny now, right?
Yeah.
And I just think they're so talented at what they do. Like, I dropped off of Destiny a while back, but there's still no doubt on the talent that they've got at that studio.
Oh yeah,
those games.
The games. I mean, even I've fallen away from it a bit, but I'm excited about Witch Queen expansion and everything. Like, the game's gone from strength to strength. It
seems to get bigger and better.
Yeah, man.
And I could pick up that game tomorrow and have fun with it.
I don't know, it's pretty fucking impenetrable at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but I could still go onto a planet and fucking run around.
And it feels brilliant, doesn't it?
Feels unbelievably good to play, right? So I think the future of Bungie, like, if they pump some money into that studio and expand it, and we see Bungie branching out on not just doing Destiny, like, that is the future of that studio could be really, really bright. And,
I mean, the roadmap
to be under the PlayStation banner is pretty wild.
Yeah, like the roadmap to the end of Destiny 2 exists, right? So there's obviously this purchase might not be really about Destiny 2. It might be about whatever's coming out 3, 4, 5 years down the line, which obviously we don't know anything about.
Destiny 3.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do a Jeff Grubb. I think it wasn't basically the rumor was there's like a few games in the works, and like some of them are still in the world of Destiny, but I think some aren't. But I mean, I've got no sources for any of that.
A roguelike deck building Destiny game.
I mean, I'd fucking play that, Dave.
With NFTs. It's got NFTs as well.
Of course you would. And
Bungie
also
mentioned that Matter thing, didn't it, ages ago?
Oh, yeah.
A couple of years ago? Or probably longer than that. It's been 5 years since 2020.
I mean, and to be fair, the amount of time they've been making Destiny 4, of course, there's an appetite there to do anything else by now, I would have thought. But, yeah.
I mean, the other thing with this is, this is obviously not in any way in reaction to what Microsoft has done with Activision, because this has obviously been going on ages ago. They've been planning this or whatever. Yeah. But then also this does give Sony shooters still as well, because that's something that they're maybe potentially going to lose, with the Activision Blizzard thing. So,
you've also got to remember, James, that there's probably a good chance that Sony knew well ahead of time that Microsoft were buying Activision Blizzard, right?
I don't know. Well, we don't know that, whether they knew that or not.
I think there's a high possibility that they know what their competitors are doing and what moves they're making.
I don't know anyone who saw the Activision stuff coming. The Microsoft and Activision.
No, because the thing is, if Sony knew, then journalists would know. Yeah, almost certainly that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But then anyway, also, how do you mobilize the amount of people that will have been involved in putting that together? Someone would have said something, wouldn't they? So yeah.
We said it last week that, is it good for gaming, this stuff? And I don't know. I think we've just got to see. It's the way it's going, so we've just got to see where it goes from here. Yeah. I think. There's nothing we've got control over.
When it's it's easier. Well, is it? I was going to say it's easier to defend when it's your sort of mid to high tier sort of indie studios, because it's a precarious existence, and you know what? If taking Sony or Microsoft's money ensures that you don't have to sack anyone, then of course you're going to make that decision. But then also, but then you start worrying about creative freedoms and such.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas, I'm not worried that the next Call of Duty is going to be creatively compromised by Microsoft owning it. But then equally, you could argue that Activision Blizzard was financially running just fine as a company. It didn't need anyone to provide it any security, So,
Also, it wouldn't be bad for there being some creative control over Call of Duty at this point. Let's mix it up a bit. Here's the thing, though, right? I think if Sony are going to start making acquisitions like this, I think they are going to have to work on this Game Pass competitor and build it up, because if if Bungie bring out their next game for both consoles and it's £70 on both consoles, that's a little bit different from Microsoft bringing out a Call of Duty game that's £70 on the PlayStation 5 and also launches on Game Pass. Do you know what I mean? So I think if Sony are going to go down the route now of buying these big studios and bringing them into the PlayStation family, then then I kind of hope that they have that sort of competitive Game Pass service. I just can't see them doing it.
Do you honestly think that they will be putting any first party?
They're only going to do that when Game Pass really starts to bite them. That's when they'll do it. But they're not going to do it until then.
Yeah, I can't see them doing it straight away. But what I'm saying is that when we're getting these games that are owned by the big companies that are coming out on both systems, when you're looking at value for money or whatever, it's pretty mad, right? The difference.
But then what's also interesting with this is they're saying that they're going to allow, they're saying that Bungie can choose where they want to publish stuff. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Does that include them saying you can publish on Game Pass if you want to? Because I doubt it.
No, I doubt that. I highly doubt that. I mean, who knows? There's probably all sorts of clauses in the contracts, and
if they are
maybe
really
they're just saying they're just saying this stuff now to sort of, as you say, put their flag in the what do you call it?
Sofa.
Put the flag in the ground. Draw the line in the sand. Put the flag in the ground. And sort of say, look, this is how it should be done, and maybe they will go back on that. Who knows? It's just mad at the moment, isn't it? It is mad, and
I
also, right?
Sony could be doing...
call me mad, right? Look, I know Call of Duty is massive, and World of Warcraft is massive, and all this sort of stuff. But when I look at that, they bought them for $3.6 billion. I looked at that and thought, That's a pretty good deal, that, isn't it?
Would you not rather have 15, 20 Bungies rather than one Activision Blizzard?
Yeah, 3.6 billion for a studio that's pretty much just done the one game. I mean, I can see why other people might think that's a lot of money for Destiny.
Well, yeah, and a game that, clearly Activision didn't think it was doing well enough to keep it going. Like they let Bungie go and said, "Take your fucking game with you." Like they did, clearly it wasn't. Certainly at that point, must not have been. I'm not saying it wasn't profitable, but obviously wasn't. Where it should have been. I think it's improved since, but is it worth? Is that like that one game probably wasn't going to be worth buying Bungie for? But as I say, it's presumably this is more about what's next.
There is. Well, this is it. Next time Bungie announce a game, everyone sits up and listens.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Like it's going to be a big deal.
Apparently, this is also not the end either for PlayStation buying stuff, because it says Jim Ryan said we should expect more when it comes to further PlayStation acquisitions.
All right.
So they're going to buy some more.
I suppose
they're having to build up a content library, and
But you see, at this stage, to me, it really feels like it's just building a library just to deny Microsoft so that they just don't buy everything.
Well, I don't know, because I suppose this is the first purchase, obviously, because there's been a few recently. There was, oh my God, I've forgotten their name, the Returnal devs.
Firesprite?
Oh, Firesprite as well, yeah. I mean, obviously they were developers that clearly had, that sort of ongoing
as well,
relationship.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, Blue Point.
But they bought developers, though, haven't they? Not just publishers.
True.
Is the thing. And that's what Microsoft has just gone for the top.
Yeah, gone to the top. Yeah. But so this is the first one where, I mean, all right, Destiny 1, there was definitely a sort of affiliation with PlayStation. There was, I think it was always Sony conferences that got to show Destiny stuff, and there was always timed exclusive DLC and stuff. So even though it was never, the game was never exclusive to PlayStation, but it felt like there was a relationship there. But then that seemed to really die off for Destiny 2, and then especially when it was like, hey, guess what, the new Destiny 2 expansion rather, is on Game Pass. That was like, oh shit, they've properly jumped the fence, like this is weird, and now they've gone back again. So
I really thought they were going to get bought up by Microsoft. I just was convinced that that's what was going to happen.
Well, because I figured something was up when Destiny 2 quietly left Game Pass on the same day that Halo came out.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty transparent, really. Very much looked like Microsoft just going, right, well, that's the day from which we've got our own shooter, so off you tot.
Bye.
And maybe people at Microsoft did know that this deal was on the way through, and so they weren't exactly going to fight to. There'd be no point fighting to keep Bungie on Destiny on Game Pass at that point, I guess.
Especially,
I think for me, what they could do with this project Spartacus is, Sony doesn't look likely that they will put their first-party titles on their day and date, but they do have the opportunity to put kind of benefits or DLC or something on that service. So, if I'm going to buy it, I could buy it on Xbox, or if I buy or obtain it through whatever PlayStation service is. So I can get on Game Pass, or if I choose to get on PlayStation, I might be buying the game, but I will have potentially a string of other perks and or DLC and or stuff ongoing. And let's be honest, there are way more PS5 owners out there than there are Xbox owners. So again, there's larger community and also potentially other perks as a result of it being a first party title. So maybe that's what they do, rather than say, hey, first party titles day and date on Project Spartacus for free, or not free, but you know what I mean. They may just find other ways to incentivize you paying the money out front for the game, but you get the benefits over the long run.
So you're saying they're going to do the opposite of Microsoft, of Microsoft offer the game and then people buy DLC for that, whereas you're saying they're going to offer the DLC.
Possibly, yeah. I just can't ever see Sony saying any first-party titles are on this service. They need to find a way to differentiate. Maybe it's by doing the opposite.
Well, that's kind of what Nintendo started doing, though, wasn't it? Animal Crossing DLC's out, but if you've got your Nintendo Online subscription, that's included with it, but not the base game.
I could see them putting first-party stuff on there, but not until it's been out for 6 months or something like that first. Do you know what I mean? There'll be a lag, before it appears.
But then that just creates the I'll wait for it to come on Game Pass problem, doesn't it?
True, but they did this with PlayStation Now before. There's games that they did that basically. Where it's
James, we're still waiting for NAC on PlayStation
no, they didn't.
Plus.
Hold on. Whoa. They didn't do that with PlayStation Now. The way they dealt with new games coming to PlayStation Now, or recently released games, or games that come out last year, on PlayStation Now. It didn't work. Like they put the games on there for like 3 months and then took them off again. It was ridiculous. Right. You know, I think you're right, Sean. Mm. There's that whole I'll just wait for it to come out on the PlayStation service. But I think their games sell like an insane amount at that high price point, and I still think they will for the people that just want to buy those games and don't want any of the other games on that service, right?
True.
I still think they'll sell.
Sony are better at those, those massive tentpole releases that everyone's going to want day one, and not going to want to wait for it to appear for free. Yeah.
If they had a service where they were saying 8 months after a game come out, then it hits that, right? I think that is I'd be interested in that. Like if they released a service where they were like, if they released it tomorrow and it had Ratchet and Clank on there, Miles Morales on there, you're talking games that are a year old now. Maybe Returnal on there. I think that could be successful for them.
But I can't. They never do that because those titles still sell so much. I mean, wasn't Miles Morales still one of the biggest selling titles this Christmas? It's like a year old.
They do, but if you're selling a subscription, which which makes them a lot of money as well, why not?
Yeah, and also you're also looking at something like Returnal, which didn't sell that well.
Yeah.
So they've sold that for 70.
Do we know that? I don't know what the sales figures are.
No, we know that it didn't sell as well. They've come out and said it didn't sell as well as they'd hoped, and
really?
And for them, like a lot of people would have looked at Returnal and thought, "Oh, I want to play it, but £70." They put it on this service. They're going to go, "Yeah, I'm going to give that a go." And Returnal, we loved Returnal when we first played it, and then it just got ridiculous. It got way too hard for me, and I got way too frustrated with it, and I gave up. Right? It was like, imagine Dark Souls, but each run up to a boss you were stuck on took you a fucking hour. It was that sort of thing. So I ditched it. But there's a lot of people that. Absolutely, that was their game of the year last year, and they fucking adored it. And the stuff that I did enjoy in that game, I adored as well. For people to just have that on a service, I think, is great because, you're past the point of all the hype and the marketing before it come out. You're past the point of the big launch. But it's still one of those games that you're back of your head where you're thinking, I'll play that eventually, I'm sure. And if it's on this service, then I think Sony are in a better position to release a service where the games come out a little bit later than Microsoft are, for sure.
And also, stuff gets a new lease of life when they do this. And it's like, then, word gets round again, then people get on it, people increase more subs or whatever. I know, I could see them doing that, like maybe 6-8 months or whatever down the line, just saying, it's on there now. And,
That makes more sense to me, I think.
Mm.
It's exciting either way. I mean, whenever we eventually hear about this Project Spartacus, clearly moves are being made, and it's going to be interesting to see what it's going to be like and what this means for the future.
Especially if it's got like PS2 and PS3 games, like back catalogue of things included. That could be good. That could be good.
I said this on Twitter. I am praying this week Nintendo announced that they're buying Sega. Like, how amazing would that be? Like, how funny would it be? Like, for example, looking at the rivalry back in the 80s and 90s, right? Considering all that stuff, but also considering the acquisitions that the others have made. if Nintendo buys Sega, that would just absolutely crazy. And then they announce it with what looks like the Mario Odyssey equivalent of a Sonic game. It'd just be so funny. It'd be so good. But yeah, I've got a feeling this year is going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. Imagine if in our prediction show we said Microsoft are buying Activision Blizzard and Sony are buying Bungie. Like, it would be good. Look, you can have that. You can have that. Do you know what I mean? Lock him in, Matt. Lock him in. You know what I mean? If that's what the reaction would be like.
In terms of this other game that Bungie announced, so it's called Matter, and basically they described it as a multiplayer action game akin to likes of Overwatch and Valorant. It'll be character based, go create amazing team play moments, and they're also looking at a time for live operation game developers, MMO developers, free to play title developers, mobile game developers. I mean, this was 2 years ago when we heard about this, so maybe we'll hear about this year.
Yep, it's going to be interesting. Right, we'll probably talk that to death.
Okay, next story is that Egx Birmingham has been postponed until next year.
Yeah.
This was the statement from Repop. They said, given the current climate and the knock-on effects of Omicron, many of our partners and brands are not yet ready to return to live events. At the end of the day, we felt that we wouldn't be able to put on the awesome show that you expect from us without them. So all the tickets for that are going to get refunded in the next few weeks. But EGX London is apparently still going to happen later this year.
Yeah, for now. I mean, that's not a dig. That's not a dig. I think, yeah, this is a reaction to how EGX went at the end of last year. There was a big backlash from consumers, or it could be a vocal minority on Twitter. But I mean, we walked about and we were like, "This does not feel like EGX."
Yeah, I mean, there's people who travelled for the weekend and got a hotel and stuff, and they found that by the end of day one, they'd run out of stuff to do. It's a shame.
And what you don't want to do is start giving a bad name towards EGX by doing conferences like that, right? Yeah. So it's the right thing to do. It's got to hurt the company that's running it, like, obviously, and it's it's a fucking nightmare. But if you're not getting the companies in there and on board, then you've really got to look at it and go, actually, we might be doing more damage to future expos by making this go ahead.
And I mean, I can't even imagine, I'm pretty sure we all know how it feels when something you've been working on for a while falls apart for reasons beyond your control. But I mean, the amount that the EGX events team must have have put up with over the last 2 years, it must just be fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Do you know what hit me today, Sean? Mm-hmm. Do you remember when the pandemic started and we were talking about Res 2020 and going, are they going to cancel it? Are they going to cancel it? And here we are in 2022 going, yeah, of course they're cancelling it. It's
wild, isn't it?
It's mad.
So for those listening, so EGX Birmingham is the conference formerly known as EGX Res, which was in London's Tobacco Dock.
Yes.
They moved it to the NEC, so a massive venue, and it's going to be indie plus AAA. So first of all, I'm thinking wonder if it would be any different if it was still back in Tobacco Dock.
No.
Nah, even though there's those outdoor spaces, I think, I still don't think it would be worth the risk. That said, WASD is going ahead, isn't it? Which is basically taken over where Res has left off. So even though it's run by Network N, I think, isn't it? They're running that. But like I was saying to you guys on WhatsApp earlier, I sort of get why EGX, as shit as it is, they can afford to cancel an event or delay it, but people already know what EGX is. They know what to expect. They're like, yeah, okay. I'm still looking forward to a future EGX because I know what it is. Whereas WASD, they haven't had one yet, so it's much harder to do you know what I mean? It's harder to cancel your first event because you haven't even got your foot in the doors, in terms of people's sort of awareness of what it's going to be like. So I can see why they've kept that going. But yeah, it does make you wonder if Res was still at Tobacco Dock, is it the venue that makes it a bit more viable because there are more outdoor spaces? Personally, I think...
Well, I think also it's just so much smaller. I mean, they would need only a fraction of the number of partners to fill up Tobacco Dock and make it seem like a viable expo, whereas if a lot of people pull out of Birmingham, it's like, holy shit, this is a massive, massive venue for a small fraction of partners. I mean,
that's it, isn't it? It's not about the people attending; it's about the companies attending.
No, it's about partners. Yeah, about filling that space. So EGX Birmingham was in London. EGX was in Birmingham, and now that's in London. So,
it was interesting because WASD. And now, I think they announced it today that they're sort of doing this thing where if you want to show off a game there, if you're an indie developer, you can just send them the build and they will set up a PC with it running on for you, and you don't have to physically attend, which I think is a clever way of getting around, obviously, the problem that EGX has had. I don't know how many indie developers will be happy to just sort of send over a pre-release build with without them there to sort of explain it, or possibly if stuff starts crashing, or because famously they might sort of watch a load of people play the game on day one and then work on the build that night and then put a slightly better build up the next day and stuff, so there's that constant sort of back and forth on that stuff, or just to just be there in case it fucking crashes. So here's how you reset it. Sorry.
Yeah, if you're an indie dev and you're listening to this and you're thinking about doing this, right? Just one piece of advice: please don't do the "Hey, I'm on FaceTime next to the monitor."
Oh no! Yeah,
if you want to talk to it, that was horrendous.
Yeah, did not like that. I mean, I know we've talked about this. Like, obviously, the dev being there is like a fantastic opportunity and everything for all involved. But broadly speaking, I just find it really awkward.
Yeah, same here.
No one's fault whatsoever. It's just I'm playing a game that I may not like, and I'm being observed by the person who's put hundreds of thousands of hours into it.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's worse over FaceTime because it's kind of like
definitely just staring right at you. Yeah.
At a screen. Yeah. I felt well awkward about doing that.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, it just made me less likely to play the game.
Oh yeah, just didn't go anywhere near them.
Yeah. Maybe the way to do it, right, is to say, here's my card with a. This is probably, we're not devs, we don't have a fucking clue. But say, like, handing someone a card with a questionnaire, link to a questionnaire on it, a website with a questionnaire on it, saying, hey, if you got any questions, or if you wanted to give a bit of feedback on the game, fill in the questionnaire.
Yeah.
Like, but
or even if it was just like
is it the Russian bots?
Or if it's just like a separate screen that was like in like a Discord with the devs or something. Do you know what I mean? You can just type stuff in, like, hey, I'm having trouble with this bit or whatever. Yeah. Or like if you want to call them, you can. But I mean, I was going to say that involves the dev being sat there all day, but then of course that's what they would be doing on.
Yeah, this one sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, just a bit.
Did you like this? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. Move on.
Was it? Yeah. Maybe. Goodbye. Right. Okay.
Okay. I've got some breaking news.
Oh really?
Oh my god!
There's been another acquisition.
No way.
No, there fucking hasn't. Oh my god! You're fucking kidding. I'm not looking. I want to hear it. Right. Oh god. Okay. All right.
No way.
Look. Right. Okay. Is it? Let's ask some questions first.
No, James. Are you being 100% truthful?
I'm being 100% truthful. There has been an acquisition.
Right. Okay. Is it one of the big? Is it one of the big three buying someone?
No.
Oh, well, okay. Who gives a shit?
It's going to be something bollocks. Go on.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. The hit game Wordle has been purchased by the New York Times.
Right, okay, fuck off, James. Don't ever do that to us again. Don't ever do that to us again. That is out of order.
How many billion did they pay for it?
It says here they've paid in the low seven figures, the company said.
Yeah. Wow.
Is it,
well done.
Is it mad that we're sitting here on transfer deadline day and games being purchased is more exciting? Like, that's weird, right?
Well, I mean, Aaron Ramsey's gone to Rangers from Juve.
Oi. Okay, sure. Wait. Okay, James, don't ever do that again. That's out of order.
Sorry.
I got so excited then. I turned into Matt. Did you?
Because I happened to have Twitter open, and I was just like, well, no one's saying shit on Twitter, so this is something's up.
Sean spoiled it for himself. Go on.
Okay, next one is that Ubisoft have said that gamers don't get what NFTs could do for them.
Yeah, we're all just too thick. That's the problem, isn't it?
So let me read to you what I've got here because this is quite funny. So in December, Ubisoft announced Quartz, which was their NFT platform for their games, where you could host like resellable in-game items with the code stamped on them or whatever. So the VP at Ubisoft Strategic Innovations Lab, Nicholas Puard, I think it is, had this to say. So this is what he said about it. He said, I think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring them. For now, because of the current situation and context of NFTs, gamers really believe it's first destroying the planet and second just a tool for speculation. But what we at Ubisoft are seeing first is the end game. The end game is about giving players the opportunity to resell their items once they're finished with them or they're finished playing the game themselves. So there you go. Then he says, also, this is part of a paradigm shift in gaming. Moving from one economic system to another is not easy to handle. There is a lot of habits you need to go against and a lot of your ingrained mindset that you have to shift. It takes time, we know that. Yeah, so, there's still...
Two thoughts on this. I've got two initial thoughts on this. The first
before you do that, can I tell you what the French trade union representing workers at Ubisoft Paris said?
Oh, if they say what I'm going to say... Okay, go on.
So they said this. They said, Ubisoft has recently entered the blockchain and non-fungible tokens market, a decision that has been widely criticised by our players, bringing no improvements or benefits to our games. Many of us in the company feel the same way and say that the blockchain is harmful, worthless and without future. You like dividends, subprimes, financial derivatives, crises, speculations, fast trading, money laundering, etc. This is the assured and unspoken promise of NFT. We are far from the enjoyment of video games.
Fair play for that.
Is that what you're going to say, Dave?
For that. No, it wasn't. It wasn't actually. What I was going to say was
close.
right. Like, firstly,
Something like that, yeah.
you look at Ubisoft, right? I mean, you can't look at a comment like that and say, "Oh, right, the big company that's made these really overpriced things are saying that they're not selling because we don't understand them." Oh, right, let me listen to that. Do you know what I mean? It's like the wolf. Telling you that, I don't know, I haven't thought that analogy through, but it's like a wolf.
Keep going.
It's like the wolf telling a rabbit that
is this wolf from
he's
Gladiators?
got a nice sofa. It's the wolf from Gladiators saying, come in, we could play, we could go up the Travelator, is it called the Travelator?
Yeah. He's like, Eureka
It can't
Johnson,
be,
this isn't working. You don't understand the Travelator like I do.
Hang on, is he still talking to a rabbit?
I don't know, Sean.
Because I bet a rabbit could get up one of those things. They can fucking move.
They'd smash that easy. What are you talking about? That's not even That's not even a question, is it?
I know. I was just imagining it, and it just for a second, I was like, could they? Yeah, of course they could. That'd be great. Be a better show.
They're well fast.
Yeah.
Also, Ubisoft gamers don't get what NFTs could do for them. Well, Ubisoft don't get what treating their staff with a little bit of respect can do for them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Fuck you.
100%.
Honestly,
if gamers don't understand what the benefits are yet, whose job is it to show us, pricks? Like, do you know what I mean? As if it's on us to be like, oh, well, we better get a move on and try and understand this. No.
But also, reselling digital items, why is this impossible to do before NFTs?
Yeah, that's the other problem.
I don't understand why it has to use NFTs.
Don't get it, James.
And I don't buy this whole idea that you'll be able to, buy stuff within one game and then use it within another. Like, NFTs aside, that is just a whole mess of, technical and artistic
mess of testicles.
Technical and artistic problems, or testicle problems for sure.
Why? Even if you wanted to do that, why do you need NFTs to do that?
Exactly.
Has anyone
still
of
require
us ever
like
considered...
so much cross collaboration between developers and publishers who have no interest in actually doing that?
Has anyone here considered that we might be losing it? Like, or maybe the spark's gone...
Because of the testicle stuff?
We don't know... Because of the testicles, because of the wolf from Gladiator talking to a rabbit. I mean,
look, we specifically said
stuff
before this that we weren't sure what we would have to add to the NFT discussion. I now think we have our answer, Dave.
I'm looking forward to the emails we're going to get about this.
Yeah. Can I make that very, very clear? If you know a lot about NFTs and you want to convince us to the NFT, please don't get in contact with us. Please don't, because we will not read them out next week, and we will probably read 3 words of that message and then ignore it. Don't get in touch.
Like the guy
Thank
who
you.
messages saying unions are shit and stuff.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, it's just. Don't get me started. Right, okay. Should we move on?
Do you want an update on Wordle? Because there's been some more information leaked out.
God,
what have they said? They were not releasing it on Xbox.
Yeah, no, sorry. Has someone else now acquired the New York Times?
Yeah, Microsoft.
So, just a quick update. It says the company have said, this is New York Times, that the game would initially remain free to new and existing players.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow.
Initially, fuck off.
Millions of players now thinking, I'm not going to bother doing it tomorrow.
Do you do it? Do we all do Word?
Yeah.
No.
I do it on and off.
I do it every morning.
What's your starting word?
I change it every day.
Oh, what? Why? But one day, if you keep changing it, you'll miss out. It's like lottery numbers.
Right. You sound like my nan with the lottery.
Yeah, exactly. Like one day it'll be the word, and you could have got it in one. Which, I mean, but then everyone knows there's literally no skill in that. It's just good luck. But
yeah, well, I've got a feeling that the people over at Wordle are saying everyone's putting a rise as their first word.
Is that a thing? Because that's mine.
Not. Yeah, that's a
went for
big
Steam
thing
for a while.
Yeah,
Nice.
Steam's another one.
Nice.
Steam's another one.
I've gone with Adio or Ouija. But
here's the I don't want to get into
Show
the
off.
Wordle thing. Let's not get into the Wordle thing. Okay.
I mean, it is a computer game. I mean, it was.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm loving it. Like, don't get me
We're
wrong.
about 6 months too late.
Yeah, to be fair.
I was about to say to you, Sean.
Yeah.
Right here. Okay, so you've brought this up.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say to you, I think it's better to find a word with with as few vowels in it as possible, because then because there's more. Okay, next news story.
Okay. Sega are exiting the arcade business after 56 years.
Ah, man.
So
That's sad, isn't it? Because initially I thought, oh my God, they're going to be acquired. But really, I was ignoring the main point that, oh my God, this is indicating that arcades are dying out a bit, aren't they?
I mean, I took Isaac to Arcade Club in Bury the other week. It was fucking great. But then, I think the identity of arcades has changed, hasn't it? Like, there's nothing like brand new in there. It's just the arcades are just going to be this place where enthusiasts and technicians and stuff are able to just sort of gather them in a warehouse somewhere and then charge you a tenner to come in. Everything's on free play, which is really cool. But yeah, I think like arcade development must just be basically non-existent at this point, right?
Well, you look at some of the you go into a local arcade or whatever, or you go down the seafront, you go down a Margate.
We go to any bowling place.
Yeah, you pop it, all of that. You look at how many of those have got the Sega logo on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, it surprised me last time I was in one.
Yeah, but this is more about the locations in Japan, because that's where this is.
That's true. They're super prominent, aren't they?
It's
of course it is. Of course it is. But I'm obviously thinking about how it's affecting us over here in Great Britain, and I think it is going to have obviously going to have a role on impact. Like, arcades are going to become fewer and fewer. It's nuts.
Well. Okay, so this company called Genda has taken over from this in Japan, and they're going to now be branded as it's GIGO, so Gigo or whatever, and it's an acronym which is for Get Into the Gaming Oasis.
Oh my God!
Oh mate,
I will.
I like this company already.
I fucking will.
I got time for them. I got time for them.
Yeah, man, I'm alright with that.
Why didn't we call this podcast the Gaming Oasis?
Because that would have been completely not true.
Name?
Yeah, because it's too much like Ready Player One.
Fair point. I don't know. Let's see. There is still part of my brain going.
What are we going to see, David?
I mean, let's see about. Sorry, I was going to move on to say. I still think there's part of my brain thinking that they might be acquired at some point.
Do you think they're trimming the fat before an acquisition? I mean, that does happen.
It's weird though that it hasn't happened for ages with this, and it just feels like there must be something just really wrong with the company that nobody wants it.
It's just the people.
Yeah, I'll tell you what was wrong. It's that they had a massive arcade business that was doing nothing. Now that's gone. Time to promote some soup, baby. Yeah. They've trimmed the fat. They keep trimming it, and then there'd just be a rich library of IP for Microsoft. Say, I'll take it for £50.
Did you see the reaction when people were saying, when this news story came out, a lot of people on Twitter were saying, Microsoft are going to buy them. And there was a lot of Sega fans furious with that. Absolutely furious with it. I don't think they would but I guess because they see it as it's the thing they love. And if Microsoft come and buy it, they see it as sort of a threat of that company changing, I guess.
Next story is that EA have confirmed that there are 3 new Star Wars games in development at Respawn.
Here we go.
So one of them is obviously a sequel to Fallen Order, but they've also got an FPS in development and a turn-based strategy game. Oh, no, sorry, not a turn-based strategy game, a strategy game, which is being developed by people from Firaxis and XCOM and stuff.
We cannot confirm how the turns are being taken, whether in real time or turn-based.
Do you know that my initial...
Well, if it's real time, there won't be any turns.
do you know my initial thought to this?
Go on.
It's that. Do you remember when Titanfall 2 come out and everyone was going, EA are going to shut down Respawn, and how terrible is that? I'm well happy to see this. That I think EA have now realised that actually Respawn are fucking brilliant. Yeah. We should give them more stuff to do. For example, didn't Titanfall 2 come out at the same time as, was it Battlefront?
Yeah, it came out at a really
wasn't that
ridiculous
the first time? I can't remember. No, you might be right.
I can't. Yeah, it was the first one clashed with Call of Duty.
The second one was sent out to die as well. It was terrible.
Well, yeah, but wasn't it? Didn't it? It was confirmed that was actually like Respawn's decision.
Yeah, sure. But what I'm saying is that it's mad now that Battlefront is pretty much confirmed dead now, right? And that Respawn are doing a first-person shooter Star Wars game. Who would have thought that back then? Like, what a mad turn of events for Respawn now to be.
Well, yeah, because I think a lot of us at best thought, oh, well, that's it. They're the Apex Legends studio now. Whereas it very much looks like EA have gone, right, you've got some of that Apex money, fucking go on, do your little Star Wars games.
Well, and what I really hope is that, Fallen Order did really well.
Yeah.
And I know that you guys had some problems with it.
I loved
it.
And,
it's clear to see that it was far from being what you would call a AAA game, right? Or to the standard of a AAA game that
it's
where you look
a AAA game.
Yeah, but when you look at something like Spider-Man and some of the stuff that Sony do, which this was you could kind of put on a par with.
There's a lot of jank.
Even Guardians of the Galaxy, right? That's probably a better comparison. You look at Guardians of the Galaxy, compare it to Fallen Order, and say, Fallen Order I really enjoyed, but you can see that it wasn't up to the level of, say, Guardians of the Galaxy. But considering that EA seemed to be throwing stuff at Respawn, and Respawn seemed to be thriving at the moment, you'd hope that the budget would be to take Fallen Order and turn it into something a lot more special.
Yeah.
And I hope that's what happens.
Well, this is it.
I can't wait to see where they go.
Yeah, for all the problems I had with Fallen Order, I'd love to see a second one, 100%.
Yeah, the base, the core of that game was good.
Yeah.
The combat was really good, and even the idea behind how you got about and the way the game was put together was pretty good. It's just visually it was a bit shonky. There was some technical issues here and there, and ultimately, some of the enemies and decisions it made sort of fell a little bit flat. So if they can tidy that stuff up, we could have a really good few Star Wars games ahead of us. You know?
Hopefully, yeah. It's I'm really excited for this because I really enjoyed Fallen Order. I thought it was great, very good.
It was good, but I'll have to watch that ending again because that ending was fucking spectacular in that game.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and also if these are good, it doesn't matter so much when the David Cage one turns out to be shite. So that's something as well.
Do you know the other hope I've got, Sean, is that it's amazing, and you're going to have to turn around and go, "This is one of the most amazing Star Wars games."
Someone else must have ghostwritten it. Someone else must have ghostwritten it.
Absolutely no chance that's going to happen. It's going to be a disaster. Okay. You'll see.
All right, we'll see.
Although loads of people will say it's brilliant, and then they'll play it, and then it'll be a couple of months later, people are like, actually, this is a bit rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
I read something today that David Cage said he's been very inspired by The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, of course he has.
Okay, Luke. Oh, God, I can't make that joke, can I? Because it's a spoiler to The Last of Us Part 2. Okay, fine.
There's a pretty good chance there's going to be pandemic stuff in this game, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
That's what it's all going to be about, yeah.
Yep.
But it won't be a comment on real-life events.
No. So, Call of Duty Warzone 2 is apparently... I mean, it hasn't been officially confirmed, but apparently it's happening. But there's somebody called Tom Henderson who apparently is a reliable Battlefield leaker. I know I'm saying apparently a lot here, but that's because I'm having to...
Yeah, this sounds like it belongs in the Farley's fantasy zone, but go on.
I mean, it was on Eurogamer, so it doesn't go in the fantasy zone, but he said that it's going to be a completely new game for the better hardware of PC and current-gen consoles, so PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. And so now people are all worried that their paid cosmetics and stuff aren't going to carry over.
Well, if they were NFTs, that wouldn't be a problem, would it?
Yeah. Did their paid cosmetic stuff in the main game carry over? Like the main multiplayer game carry over? Because that's every year.
No, but this is Warzone, which is not the same.
No, I'm aware of that, but what I'm saying is that it's no different if they bring out a new Warzone and you have to start again.
But they don't bring out a new Warzone every year.
I know, so it's better, isn't it? Because you get to keep your cosmetic stuff for a longer period of time.
But I think the point is more that people assumed Warzone was just going to be an ongoing platform for a long time.
Update it and stuff.
But then, but then it's not like any promises were ever made.
With so many games now, Destiny, Call of Duty. I mean, it just seems like a standard practice. I can't imagine why this would be any different.
Most of the games that are like this, though, they haven't. Like Destiny 2 is the only one I can think of that they've done this. Like normally, it's like Fortnite that stayed the same pretty much. I mean, they redesign everything, but then everything stays the same. Like all your cosmetic items and everything, you don't.
So you're saying it's, even though it's more common practice to bring out a new game on a regular basis, maybe every year, every 2 years, where you have to start again. That's okay, but doing it over a longer period of time is worse.
I don't understand what you mean, Dave, because this Warzone is not the same as standard like Call of Duty multiplayer. It's not the same thing.
But the concept of bringing stuff over to the next version of that game...
But it doesn't, because Warzone's the first version of this.
Okay, all right. Okay, I mean, I think that's... I don't see the difference. If you're bringing out a new version of the game, then you start again, and that's been common practice in video games for ages.
I think as long as players can see the game is substantially different. I can't imagine me getting upset by this, but I don't know.
No, because the point is that people look at Warzone as being a bit like Fortnite or a bit like PUBG or whatever, where it's like this is a games as a service game that's going to be around for a long time that maybe get iterated on or whatever, but it's not going. They're not going to do like
move on.
Like it's not going to be Fortnite 2, for example.
Yeah,
that's what this is. It's different to regular Call of Duty. It's not in the same lane as that.
No, I'm aware, but what I'm saying is that if they need to do that. If they need to bring out a new version of the game because of how it's built on older, you look at the way that Bungie run Destiny now, right? They're at a point where the game is so overloaded that they have to put stuff in the archive and stuff like that. If they could scrap that, start again on a new system where they didn't have to do that, then I think Destiny players would be well aware that the likelihood is that they'd have to start again in terms of all the shit they've acquired throughout.
Yeah. Plus, because obviously Destiny 1 to 2, you kept the same character, but you didn't keep any of your stuff. But that's because you played 10 minutes of Destiny 2, and you're like, oh, this is a different game. Like, the systems have all changed. My old stuff wouldn't even really, wouldn't be applicable anyway. So, I would say that is the trick to not upsetting people with something like this. Is if you load up Warzone 2, and you're like, well, of course I haven't got my old stuff. Like, this is not the same game. Then I think people will take that on the chin, but... Yeah, I know.
Interesting.
Next one is that there's details of a PS5 version of Cyberpunk 2077 have appeared. And this is from... Yeah,
it's been an interesting one.
It's from a Twitter account which is called PlayStation Game Size, which basically shows up details of upcoming releases based on the PlayStation Store. And this one is apparent. The PS5 version is apparently coming mid-February, early March. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I mean,
by the sounds of it, they're gearing up because there's some new artwork that's been released, right? So it sounds like they're doing a proper full... I mean, people have jumped to conclusions, but the rumours are they're going to do a proper full relaunch of this game. And that's exciting, right?
Yeah. I still don't know if it's ready.
How do you know?
Well, just because, I showed you the other night, didn't I? Because sort of intrigued by this. I loaded up the PC version just thinking, actually, where's it up to now? Like in terms of bugs and stuff. And I walked into a diner and all the character models inside it were all stood up, just staring forwards, and had the legs were clipping through the seats and stuff. And I was just like, same game.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So if they're doing a relaunch, you'd hope that it'd be a significant...
Yeah, maybe there's another massive patch on the way.
See, it's weird because Eurogamer said that apparently according to Steam, it now has a very positive user review rating. It's one of the top selling games on the platform.
Really?
It's apparently doing very well now. And it's been improved, but I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
I would love them to do a full relaunch. It comes out, actually no, it works perfectly now. It looks gorgeous. That might tempt me to actually bother playing it because I was interested in this before, and then it was just such a mess that it just killed any kind of love. I wasn't even tempted to try it out just to see how bad it was. So I would love it if it comes out and it's good and it's that's what we want. We want games to come back and actually do well, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I just hope it is ready.
Good.
I just hope this is the right time.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's all.
They can't afford for this next gen version to come out and that will be broken. This has to be a perfect launch.
This has to be a big launch. Yeah,
and we don't know.
Go on, sorry.
We don't know when it will be coming out. They're not going to announce anything until they are 100% sure that the game is working. It is as good as it can be. I'm sure they've also got investors saying, "Look, release this game now. You're taking the piss," kind of thing. Yeah. But they cannot afford for this release on next gen consoles to be anything less than perfect.
Yeah, I mean, and in a way, like, thank God they've got that vehicle of the next gen versions to be like, right now the game's out. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was just if the next gen consoles weren't around, and it was just like, well, here's another patch. Do you know what I mean? They'd have to put out like a complete edition with some new DLC or something, to make it a bit of a landmark. Whereas to be able to actually just go, right, next gen versions, let's fucking go. That's like enough of an event to get people interested again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very fortunate they've got that in their back pocket. Let's hope they nail it.
Okay. Next story is that Discord PlayStation integration is now live.
All right.
I'm sure everyone's really excited about this.
I'm excited about this. What have we got? What are we getting?
I mean, so according to Discord, they said once your Discord account is linked, the game you're playing, either on PS4 or PS5, will be shown as your activity, just like that. So there you go.
Is that it?
Okay.
So
it's not
like
using the
chat or anything.
But this is just the start of it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, all right. I mean, I'm taking the piss, but like, I suppose that functionality is not really necessary. Like, all that stuff already exists within PSN, doesn't it? So to expect it to do like all Discord stuff is probably unreasonable anyway. But
I hope you can disable this. I don't want people on Discord seeing all the anime games that I'm playing.
That's true.
It's just I always think that. I always think, why do I want people to know what I'm playing?
Yeah, I don't really.
Leave me alone.
Don't really want.
Just do your own thing. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I unlinked to my Xbox One.
Did you?
Did you?
Yeah. Because what would happen is I would be playing something in the night, and then the next day my status would still say I'm playing the game, and I couldn't. There's no way. Like, Xbox is off, everything like is still doing it, so I just removed the connection on my Discord account.
Did you do that just before a Game of the Year show, Matt?
No,
yeah.
I did it when I looked at my Discord during the work day, and it said I was playing a game that I hadn't played for a day and a bit, and I'm like, this is
Oh right. Oh, so that must be that bug game, Matt. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah,
I was playing like Paw Patrol on Xbox, and I was like, oh god, this is embarrassing.
That happened to me too, Matt.
Good. That's good together. This obviously, you would hope this is just the start of their partnership. They didn't announce a partnership for this.
Yeah, no, they can't do. Because as you say, it's already available on Xbox. So it would be pretty weird if this was what the partnership was about. So, no, I'm sure there's more coming.
Okay, last story is that PlayStation State of Play has been announced for this week. And it's happening, in fact, on Wednesday. So that'll be today when this comes out. At 10 p.m. UK time. And it's going to focus entirely on Gran Turismo 7. And
entirely?
It's going to be 30 minutes.
Entirely, yeah.
See, this is what you said, Matt. But then when I looked at the thing, they said, it's taking centre stage rather than this is all just Gran Turismo.
It's going to be all Gran Turismo.
On the blog, it says, it's all GT7.
Oh, right, okay. Well, thank God we're not doing a talks over then, because
I don't watch that. It'd be boring, wouldn't it?
Gran Turismo could be good or whatever, but I wouldn't watch I'm a massive fan of Forza, but I wouldn't watch how long is it? An hour?
Minutes.
30 minutes.
Oh, 30 minutes. I wouldn't watch a 30-minute, video of Forza before it
I don't know, like 30 minutes this with you, Dave, because you'll just spend 30 minutes going on about how Forza Horizon's better. It's like...
Well, I don't know, do I? I mean, I've not played Gran Turismo for ages. The last one I played was the PS3 one. Is it Concept?
Oh, yeah.
Cars one or
GT
whatever?
Concept,
and I was like, this is boring now. Yeah. So, I don't know. Look, it could be good, James. I'm not going to prejudge it, but I do love my Forza.
The problem is I don't really care about this. Apparently, it's got 420 car models and 90 tracks. But it's just the thing I liked about Forza. I mean, Horizon, I haven't even played that much, but I appreciate the fun factor with that of just like the arcadiness of it. And I know that Gran Turismo isn't that, so I know I'm going to enjoy it as much. Isn't it? Yeah,
completely different audience. So
I'm excited for the game, but I don't see the need to watch half an hour state of play in it. But I'm still interested in the game. I think that's great.
Okay.
That's it. I've got nothing else. I've got no fantasy either.
Goddamn.
This week.
Oh, what? I live for that shit.
I mean,
Stop taking it away from me.
There was one thing. I mean, do you want me to do it or not?
I don't know. Is it good?
Not really. I mean, it's just...
It's never good, is it?
Well, no, this is particularly just like hearsay.
Oh, what, are they reforming?
It's not worth the journey then, is it? What's the hearsay? If this is fucking great, then I'm going to be really pissed off. Go on.
Well, no, it's not. It's just I just heard a rumor that Nintendo were going to announce a new game in February, but that's all I've heard.
Oh, is any more detail?
Yeah,
right,
that's some juice.
There's no detail, so it's
Speaking.
I mean, if you want to drag the news out, we can talk about the Sea of Thieves event that was this week.
Speaking of Nintendo and games. There was a big release this week, and only one of us have played it. Matt,
Vampire Survivors.
You got to talk about Pokémon Legends.
Pokémon. Is that how you pronounce it?
Is it Arceus?
Arceus.
Is that
Arceus?
No, it's Arceus. I looked it up. Yeah.
Okay, Arceus.
Which is a shame because that's one less opportunity in your life to say the word arse.
Yeah, I know. What a disappointment. 2 out of 10.
Sort out Nintendo.
So it's just me playing it, right? Sean, you haven't played this?
I am getting it. I'm just waiting for the Patreon money to come in so I can expense it.
Yeah, you said you were going to get it on the way home from when I saw you.
I know, and then I
thought,
set off too late, and then it turned out my local Argos haven't got it till next week anyway.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
I can't believe I'm the only one who have played this week.
I mean, you're not, are you, obviously, because I've already played it, so, you know.
Have you? What's happened here? James?
Keeping secrets.
Yes, I've played I've played 15 hours of this
and
so
you
far.
haven't put it on the list?
Oh, God.
Go on, why the secrecy?
Souls written on the list? Oh, this is one of his. Oh, I'm going to surprise everyone on the show.
Yeah,
but it's like the least surprising thing I've ever heard.
I know that's why I did it, because I knew you'd say that, because it's just. I've playing it as well. Yeah, I got it on Friday and I've played it all weekend. And
quite good
today,
then. Yeah.
It's really good. It's weird because I had no intention of getting this, honestly, because I don't really care for Pokemon that much. But then I got swept up in the review hype, and yeah, I bought it, and I bought it also like for Asher to play as well, although he hasn't touched it yet, but he will.
Has he seen it yet? Because he knows in the house.
I thought he wasn't allowed it until he finished the other one.
I didn't tell him that I'd bought it, and I just left the box just like lying around to see if he'd notice, and he didn't. Like for ages, and then eventually he did, and he was really excited. So that's cool. The weirdest thing about playing it though is the way that he knows like pretty much every single Pokemon in the game, and like what they're going to evolve into and stuff like that. And it's really
even
strange.
like Isaac knows like way too much of that shit already, and he's only 4. Yeah.
Does he watch those unpacking the card unpacking videos?
No, although he does watch a lot of Pokemon like cartoon stuff. Yeah. So
okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so I've been playing that for 15 hours now.
You said, what's it like?
Who's going to speak? Do you want to speak, Matt, or do you want me to begin?
No, you can speak, yeah, but I've also put 15 hours into this.
Let the speaking commence.
Well, in
Would
the beginning...
you like me to begin? Go on.
But no, this you see, I've been talking about this over the weekend, because we've obviously both been playing it, and it's really strange because the story is bobbins. Yeah. It's like, it's completely pointless, and I couldn't
what is
care
it?
less.
Go tell it to me, because I haven't got a fucking clue.
I still don't really know.
It's set in the past, isn't it? It's set in the past. I know that much.
It's set in the past, yeah. And you go through like this sort of time warp thing, and you end up in the past, and in like the environment. It's in the environment where it's like this is where you were in the future, but now it's like everything's being constructed, and it's like
Back to the Future. Back to the Future.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah. And there's no sports
Tommy
almanac.
Cooper. Yeah. So what? So is there a chance? Like, how far do you go back? Is there a chance that you just bump into Ash?
No.
Oh, shut
no, it's not like that.
Do you
it's
become
far
romantically involved with Ash's mum?
See that's
why Ash's dad isn't around. Fuck,
James.
Oh my God.
James, when you say that. James, when you say that, it just sounds like... See, I would be interested in that.
No, that would be interesting. But the first 3 or 4 hours of this game are incredibly boring. because because of all the dialogue. Like, there's so much dialogue, and it's so boring and not interesting at all. The story is completely just pointless, and I don't care at all. The game looks okay. It doesn't look as bad as I was expecting from all the screenshots people were posting, because in motion it's fine.
Yeah.
It's kind of okay.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it definitely looks, I would say, bare in places, but I think it does some nice things with lighting, like the various kind of times of the day. It does paint some nice kind of environments, but yeah, it looks a bit plain, but it looks way better in motion than it does on any screenshot, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it looks okay, but it's really difficult to describe why I'm really enjoying this, but for some reason, it's a very, very compelling game. Like, the tasks that you're undertaking in this game are basically things like fetch quests and stuff like that, and then you're also going from place to place to sort of take on these larger Pokemon as well. And it's really repetitive, but for some reason really fun, like, just to do. And the best thing about it is the way that you, like, when you open up new areas, is just like getting into that area and then sort of just exploring around, trying to catch as many of them as you can. As the slogan goes. So then you can like level up your character.
Catch as many of them as you can.
As you can.
As you can.
And then like having to use techniques to pick them up as well, because some of them you have to like sneak up on them and all that sort of stuff. But it's just, I don't know why it's really fun to do this. I mean, I've caught.
Well, this is brilliant. It's good that you're on a podcast to try and describe why it's really fun, and you've said 3 times I can't tell you why it's really fun.
No, I've caught 101 of these things, and I've done 4 out of 5 of like the major bosses you're supposed to do in the game, and I mean, I don't feel like I'm coming anywhere near to like being finished with the game, because the other thing about this is that one of the things which I think is probably different to the earlier Pokemon games is that to fully complete like the Pokédex, which is what you're supposed to be doing for this, you have to like fully research each Pokemon, which means that you have to do certain things to like understand how how that Pokemon exists and like what it does.
It's not just it's not just you capture one and then that's it.
No,
it's like you do loads, right?
You have to like watch them fight. You have to catch them like with by surprise, and there's all sorts of things to
what? Catch them by surprise?
Yeah, you hide in some grass. You I've done that a couple of times. You like hide behind a rock, then like peer around, and then like chuck a Pokeball, and then like catch them, and they're surprised, and it's great. And so you have to do this. You have to get to like research level 10 for it to like count as being like, okay, you fully researched this Pokemon. Cool. And the thing is, I don't know how many of them there are in this game. I'm imagining probably several hundred or whatever, which means that this could take a very long time if you wanted to completely fill out the entire Pokédex. Like, I don't know how long that would take, but I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to do that, because I probably won't, but the ones that I have caught so far it's been very, very fun. Like, it's really engaging. And also, not the other Pokemon games that I've played in the past have always been a little bit easy. Like, they haven't been too difficult. This one, I have got to parts where, I haven't been like sort of, knocked out or anything, but where you really do have to consider, what sort of Pokemon you're using, against, ones that you're coming up against. It's great. It's really...
Quick question.
Go.
James, how many copies of the game have you got?
I've only got one. Yeah, one
James?
copy. No, I've only got
how
one.
many copies of the game? I don't believe you.
Well, I have.
I don't believe you played 15 hours of this game.
Why would I buy more than one?
Your son is insanely excited for. I don't believe you.
It's true. Seriously.
I'm with Dave on this one.
Does the game even have a trading element? Because obviously, previous Pokemon games, there's been 2 versions. Each one has a certain amount, and you've got to trade between them to get the full amount of Pokemon. This doesn't have 2 versions, it's just a one. So
no, you can do trading. You can do online trading. I know you can do that. I haven't
so we can trade
yet.
together, can we? Excellent.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Although I think it's more a case of...
ball lake.
Yeah, I think it's more of a case of you put up stuff that you've got to trade, and then other people can search for it and see if they want it, and that kind of thing.
Like Forza.
But it's also an open... I mean, it's an open world game. It is generally open world, which is quite...
open world-ish. Yeah, I mean, the comparisons between this and Monster Hunter are definitely apt in that you have like a hub world, which is your hub area, which is like the village, and a lot of the story happens there. A lot of characters are there, and shops and whatnot. And then you can leave the village, and then you see a map, and that's when you choose which area you want to go in, and then very small cutscene happens, and then you're in that larger open world area, and then you want to go back, you'd have to hit the map, select the main hub, and you're back there. So it feels very Monster Hunter in that regard. It's not a full seamless open world. It's not like Breath of the Wild in that regard. But I'm definitely getting some Breath of the Wild vibes. Maybe it's just because I'm playing this kind of game on Switch, but whether it's the visuals, which are kind of muted tones, and like the music at parts feels very...
The music's really good.
It really good, but it feels kind of Breath of the Wild as well. And then, just like the style and environments, there's definitely... maybe I'm trying to find it in the game, but I'm definitely getting memories and flashbacks to Breath of the Wild. I think even if it's not that big, vast, dense, open area with lots of things to see and do in adventure, I still think there is some adventure. And James, you totally nailed it there. There's such a great feeling when you're like, hey, you get told you can go to a new area. It's like a new environment. Maybe it's hotter, maybe it's colder, maybe maybe it's coastal area. Who knows? And then you get to survey the land and see. I can see loads of Pokemon, different ones I haven't seen before out there, and there's like main missions, and there's also requests, which are basically side missions from people you meet around the environment, and they could be, hey, I want to see this particular Pokemon, or want this one that's like a certain height or certain weight, or complete the Pokédex for that Pokemon. So there's loads of them, and I've done so many of them requests. I've probably spent I've also played for about 15 hours. But I'm not where James is in the story because I've been spending way too much time doing the side missions and whatnot. But yeah, I think there is a feel of adventure. If it's not, obviously, it's nothing really as good and as big as Breath of the Wild. But yeah, definitely evokes the same kind of feelings.
It certainly, like, visually, it looks a little similar, but also the UI as well is quite similar. Like, how like the menu systems work and everything. It feels a lot to me like Breath of the Wild, like with that. It really does. But then also, I mean, when I say like I don't really know why I'm enjoying it, I think it's partly because I at no point when I play this game do I feel stressed out at all. And it's just been nice to like explore this environment, catch these things, and then sort of do the battling and stuff. It's just been really fun.
Right. Firstly, I mean, this game's different in that it encourages you to catch like a ridiculous amount of Pokemon, right?
Yes, a lot.
Does it lose that whole you've got your favourite or you've got your crew feeling?
Not at all.
If you've got that many of them.
No, because you've still I've still got you have 6 that you keep with you at all times, and then you can switch those out and do like whatever like you're supposed to like level them up and all that kind of stuff. You've also got these ones that are like alpha Pokemon as well, that are these like they're enormous. Like when you go into like an area, there's like you'll find like hidden somewhere there'll be like one of the Pokemon that's massive compared with all the others with like these red glowing eyes, and they're more of a challenge to take down. And if you can take it down, but then also capture it as well, you can then use it like as part of your team, and it's quite amazing. Like there was like which one was it? There was I can't remember the name of any of them. That's the problem. This is why I wish my son was here because he can explain who they all are. But there was this bit where I was like going across this field, and then I saw this. The horse. What's the horse one called, Sean? Do you know?
Is it Ponyta?
Poncho or Ponytail? I think.
Yeah, that one. Whatever. But,
please keep guessing. Please keep guessing.
Is it not Ponyta?
Ponyta, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. But there was one of those, and it was massive. Like, and I just looked at it, I thought, that is majestic, that creature. That looks incredible. And then going on and then like taking it down, it was brilliant. It was really, really like really fun. But then you've always got that risk thing of like, like if you hit them too hard, and then whether you knock them out instead of like trying to capture them and
I've
stuff.
had that in the past. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to not hit you a little bit, take your energy down, and then throw a Pokeball to get you. And then I just somehow have done a move where it's super effective. Basically, there's loads of moves you can do where it says either not effective, or super effective, or very effective. And I'm like, I'll do that one. I think that'll be fine. And no, the Pokemon's dead. Because what is good is that you can play the game quite stealthily, actually. I've done a lot of my captures that way, where you can hide in grass and just go for the capture, or you can defeat them if you want to do that as well. And your Pokedex might require you to capture them a certain number of times, or defeat them using certain moves, or defeat them also in a certain number of times. So I think you can play the game quite differently. I mean, most of my captures, most of my battles have come as a result of me trying to sneak up to a Pokemon and it going wrong, and I'm like, well, I might as well just fight you now.
So is the combat still the select a move, wait your turn?
It's still,
that's what puts me off.
It's still like turn-based, but then also there's like modifiers as well for some of the moves where you can do like agile moves, which means that it's like a weaker move of the move you've selected, but then there's a chance you get to do more of them, like in a
that's right.
set.
It's a little bit Bravely Default, isn't it?
Yeah. Or you can do like a strong one, which is like, it'll hit harder, but then maybe you lose two turns, as it were, for the so it's like, it's like a risk, that kind of thing.
There's also these boss battles which will be really good. So they're much more just like a 3D action adventure game where it's not about turn-based, and a lot of the ones I've done so far, it's actually about you throwing these bombs towards these. Are they like enraged Pokemon?
It's these. They're like enraged, angry Pokemon or whatever. Yeah, as Matt said, you use these like this bomb that you have to like collect, and then you like chuck them at it while the different creatures like do different moves that you have to like dodge and all that kind of thing. So it's
So that it's like it's about dodging waves of like this beam that can hurt you, or jumping through this, or jumping out of the way, or diving out of the way of a certain move, and then you throw these bombs at them, and they've got like a big health bar above their head. But then also during that battle, there are moments where they're dazed, and then you can get your Pokemon out and attack them as well. So I've been really enjoying those huge big boss battles. I think they've been different and really, really fun. I mean, I haven't lost one yet, so they're not too difficult, but I think they've been really interesting, really exciting to play.
See, I dislike turn-based games like intensely. I really don't like them very much, and that was one of the things that put me off playing this. But then, because the battles are really quick, like things happen very fast, and so it doesn't feel like the long drawn-out affair that other games like this I played.
Renault Began feels like when you're
exactly. Yeah, it's not been like that, and so that's what I mean. I'm not sure I'd recommend this to you, Dave, because I still don't think you'll like it because of the tweeness of it as well is a bit irritating in places. But it's just, I don't know. I'm loving it, like absolutely loving it, like much more than I thought I was going to. As I said, I've gone from but then I still don't really know why I love it. This is just very strange. It's a very strange game. But I was saying to Matt before we started recording, and he said the same. It's like, I kind of wish we weren't recording tonight, because I'd like to just continue playing this, because it's been so fun. It's been so fun.
Thanks, mate.
Also, because Dave's a prick. Yeah, I've been had a busy weekend, but I've also put like 15 hours into this, and I've any moment I could, I've been playing this game. It's just been a joy. And yeah, I mean, although we found it hard to articulate exactly why, for me, it's just because the gameplay loop is immensely fun and satisfying. Yeah. It's satisfying to go into new environments, capture some Pokemon, battle them, do some random requests from other people in the environment, go back. I mean, the story is pretty bobbins, but it's just really fun just to play the basic kind of gameplay loop. I mean, I haven't played previous ones, so I'm absolutely not the person to be talking about this game, really, because I would love someone who's probably played every game to see what the differences are. And I've listened to some people talk about it, saying this does lots of new things, and this might be like the start of like a new way for Pokemon games to function. But for me, it has no affiliation with Pokemon other than playing Pokemon Go for 2 summers. The first summer, and then like 2 or 3 summers ago, I got massively into it again. So other than like recognizing some Pokemon from there, recognizing some of the some of the evolutions of the Pokemon, that's basically where my knowledge of Pokemon starts and ends. But yeah, this has just got a really, really compelling gameplay loop. It's also got some kind of online strand elements, like from Death Stranding. There are these briefcases that other players in the world have left. I'm not sure if that's where they fainted, James. Do you reckon that's what it is?
I think it might be that, yeah. Yeah.
So where other human players have died in their game, they leave these briefcases, suitcases, or satchels is what they're called, and that has some stuff inside, but you see them on your map, and you can go over to the location, you see the satchel on the ground, and when you pick them up, you get these merit points, I believe they're called, and you can keep collecting them, and there's a bunch of them on the map, and with those merit points, you can then use them points to buy other things. I haven't saved up enough yet, but other things in the market in town. So again, another thing, okay, I can either do a mission, I can just do some requests, I can just explore, or open the map, or collect some Pokemon, or, oh no, there's a bunch of satchels here, I'll do that now. So there's always something interesting for me to do in the area. Also, after a while, you get access to Pokemon to ride, and I think other things later as well. So at first I'm like, wow, this is a massive environment to walk around. It's going to take me forever. And then at some point you get a Pokemon to ride, and that's really fun. Although the controls of that are really finicky. I'm not sure if you found that, James. Like the turning circle on that first animal is a nightmare.
It's all right. It depends if you're trying to run or not. If you're not running, it's okay.
I am trying to run everywhere. But no, I'm absolutely loving it so far. And if I wasn't recording this now, I'd absolutely be playing it. And I'm
going to have to buy it.
I'm enjoying it.
I'm going to have to buy it because I need to pick it apart and lay the groundwork for the Game of the Year show, clearly.
I'm 100% getting it. Like, I was already convinced, but just hearing you guys talk about it.
One question: do you still get to name your rival like Sean did?
No, there's nothing like that in this.
Okay,
it's
really?
There's no gyms, there's no rivals. You can name the Pokemon you get. There's no other rivals or gyms.
You can name your Pokemon.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you've always been able to do that. But it's
What's
just
your best name?
I'll just use the default names. I don't.
I haven't changed any names.
Boring.
Unbelievable.
Well, I've captured over 100 Pokemon. I'm not going to spend like another.
But surely, like your mains, like you're gonna
standard.
No, all right.
Can't be bothered.
Fine. To be fair, I've been getting that with Pikmin Bloom. It's like, oh look, you've got your 35th bred Pikmin. Do you want to name it? No. What would I call it at this point? What's the?
I will call this 35. Okay, all right. That's a good overview of Pokemon. I'm sure we'll be talking about that next week, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's just tremendously fun. It's
cool.
One thing I'm a bit shocked about, and again, haven't played the previous one. There's no voice acting in this. Now, I know they haven't historically had voice acting in, but it just the way the game functions and looks, it feels like I should be hearing some voices here. But
I'll tell you what,
it's quite jarring.
I saw on the Romup forum, like somebody said, this feels like a sort of PS2 GameCube era game, like in terms of things like that. And I think I'd completely agree with that. It does feel like that era, just with better visuals and stuff.
See,
like
that does. That is. I mean, I expected it, but it is disappointing purely because I'm going to be playing a lot of this with Isaac, and he's going to want me to read everything out.
Oh no, you don't want to read.
Well,
this
is
stuff
it because like other games we've played, and I've just had to be like, mate, and this is. From an educational standpoint, this is appalling. But just take it from me, this is boring. I'm just going to skip all the text. Like if I read all this out,
can't just make it up. Make your own story.
Sometimes I'll like summarize it, so I'll be there just like rattling through the diagram. Right, he's saying he needs you to go here and do this. But yeah,
make a completely new narrative up, Sean. Go for it. Just go.
And the one in the game.
Go full in. I want to hear about this Vampire Survivors, which Sean and Matt have been playing, and I've seen Matt post up things on Twitter going, "Oh my god, look at this!" I look at it; it's just a mess of fucking colour. Don't know what's going on. So I want to know what the deal is here. What are you playing it on first? Because I didn't think
it's only on
it's
PC.
It's a Steam game. I don't know if it's Mac and PC, but I'm playing on PC.
Yeah. Go on then.
So Vampire Survivors. It's like a £2 early access indie game. I mean, I read this really fantastic piece about it. So the designer is a guy called Luca Galante, who he worked on Ultima Online, and he just wanted to create like a new game to have like a little tiny like community to manage because he kind of missed that. He wanted something to do on the weekends, so he created this game. It really didn't, it released in late December. I think December 17th. There's like 2 or 3 people playing it. Then suddenly a couple of YouTube videos and like a Twitch stream happened about the game, and it's absolutely blown up. And I checked today, it's like 50,000 people playing it at once, which is absolute madness. It was like more than God of War, I think it was yesterday. But what the game is, it's 8-bit graphics and very kind of heavily kind of characters are inspired by things like Castlevania. I mean, I don't really play Castlevania, but that's at least what everyone says. It's a top-down shooter, kind of for me combining Geometry Wars with roguelikes and also horde mode. You start with a character and quite an empty space, but with enemies that are slowly, going towards you. You, as the player, you auto fire. So whatever weapon you have, it's auto fires, and those could be like arrows that aim towards an enemy or whatever. So all you need to do is focus on actually just moving your character. That then becomes essential as you suddenly have hundreds and then actually like thousands of enemies trying to capture you and trying to kill you. You have like a health bar. Once I get down to the end, it's game over. You start a new run. What happens is during each run is that you have all these enemies on you, automatically firing. They will drop gems. These gems and some other items they drop basically they act as XP. You have a big XP bar at the top, and every time you level up, you have an option of choosing a new weapon or a new passive ability. And these could be, okay, you have like a small force field around you. So if an enemy goes towards you, they'll basically die unless they get into the force field. It could be that the projectile you fire always hits the first person. Or later on, when you level up, you can actually increase the number of projectiles that you're firing against you. So you're basically, and you get the choice of which of these to obtain when you level up or when you kill these other certain enemies on the map. And then suddenly you find yourself, because the amount of enemies it gets massive, and there are hundreds and probably even thousands of enemies on screen. You're then juggling these various weapons and ability and passive abilities you've got. You're trying to make your way out away from the crowds of enemies, whilst also trying to kill them because they drop gems, and then you collect gems, you level up, you get bigger and more powerful weapons. That alone is really, really exciting and really, really, really super satisfying. One, because it's just fun getting these new weapons, and there's some I love. I think one's called Garlic. That's where you get the force field around you, which kind of means you can walk into enemies, particularly some of the weaker ones, so you're not so scared, but others can get through into the force field you've got. That alone is just immensely, immensely fun. What do you think, Sean?
It's just this sort of bizarre, sort of incredible distillation of like a roguelike action game. It's like you say, all you do is move around. Like there's no attack button. It all just happens automatically. There's some abilities. Things like the throwing knife sort of shoots in the direction that you're currently facing. So you have to aim that. But pretty much everything else just kind of does its own thing. And it's just about maneuvering yourself around and strategically building up your abilities in a way that sort of hopefully they sort of synergize with each other, or sort of all sort of lend themselves to like a certain style of movement. And it's like there's so little to it, and yet it's incredibly compelling. Like it looks, as you say, it doesn't look great. I mean, it's by design. I don't think it's intentional. Like the designs of the characters and stuff are fine, but it is just like sprites just, barely animating, moving around on the screen. And it creates these little moments like the fact that, as you say, when you kill an enemy, there's a chance they'll drop a gem, which you then have to pick up. And, that's your experience points. Like you can mow down like a shitload of enemies, but if there's a load more enemies behind them who then sort of trample over all the gems, you have to retreat, and you can't necessarily grab them. But then sometimes you can like carve like just enough of a path through the enemies to like try and make a dash through and hopefully not get hit too much. And like those little moments are like fucking yes, and then you end up leveling up, and then
those moments have been great. Just you said, I've like killed loads of enemies, but then and every now and then there might be like a load of bats that go from the top right to the top left.
Yeah,
you basically have to quickly get out of the way of. Like top left, top right, left to right, whatever it is. And so I've had moments I'm like, I've just killed loads of enemies. There's loads of gems I need to get, and I'll go get out of the way, and then, because so much is happening at once, you move away to another part of the screen and you kind of forget it. And then later you're like, oh no, this is where I was ages ago. And there's absolutely shitloads of gems to pick up, and suddenly you go up a level or two.
Or like...
so it's like a nice surprise. Because those gems I first thought, they're going to like disappear if I don't pick them up, but they actually remain there forever. So at first I was just like, kill an enemy, rush towards a gem, but you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it at all. Same with like weapons, and there's also these like every now and then you'll see an enemy which has like a color around it. You kill them, and then they drop like a chest or key or whatever it is, and in there you have, I think again, up to 3 weapons or passive abilities. You also get loads of coins. Coins you can use to permanently buy characters, and there's 4 characters to buy, and or permanently upgrade some traits. There's things like luck and loads and loads of other ones.
They're just
where
like
it might increase the number of projectiles.
Yeah, just little things to give you a leg up.
The cooldowns might
in
reduce.
Future runs, aren't they? So it's so yes, it's a roguelike, but when you die, it's a roguelite, isn't it? I guess technically it's you die, but then it's like, well, I've got coins that I can spend on stuff and probably have a slightly easier time of it next time. But like it escalates to such a point that it's always ends up being absolutely absurd if you survive long enough. And like, sort of constantly sort of matching the power curve of the enemies is just really fun, because you'll have situations where you get a couple of upgrades and they sort of, work quite well together. And you're like, this is piss easy, I'm just killing everything. And then it does that thing where like all the plants start like closing around you, they form like a big circle. And then you're just like, hang on a minute. Or like a new enemy type arrives and you're like, I can't kill this in one hit. Oh my God, it takes ages to kill. Fuck, I'm going to have to rethink things. It's proper good. As I say, it's so bare bones, and yet it's got all the important bits of a really good roguelike. It's proper fascinating, and as I say, it's £2. I mean, if this ends up on Switch or something, that'll be deadly. I mean, put this on my phone, please. I mean, don't, because I'll never get off the toilet. But
is it not on Android? I thought because I was just having a look.
Is it?
I thought it was on.
Oh shit!
I thought it was an Android version.
No, so this game was inspired by another game. It might be that. What's that Android one you're seeing?
I don't know. I just typed in. Was it? The name of the game, and it said there was a Windows and Android version.
Possibly. So there's this really great piece Patrick Klepek put up on Vice/Waypoint where he interviews Luca, like the designer, and he said he was inspired by this other game, but he wanted to like bring out on PC and whatnot, and this is the one that's blown up. And I know, tens of thousands of people have like played are playing it and have bought it and talking it up and whatnot. But I still think I'm surprised that not everyone on on Twitter is like talking about this. I'm sure. Well, who knows? But no, I'm so glad I picked it up, and not just because the fact it's £2, but it's just really addictive, that those loops. I mean, when you get to like the 10-minute mark, I was like really struggling, because that's when all like these skeletons seem to appear, and I was getting absolutely like ruined by all these. But I think like Chris Schilling did like a 30-minute run the other day. I can't imagine how many enemies were on screen at that point. But no, it's absolutely excellent. And yeah, £2. I think if you got a PC and it sounds good to you, you should absolutely.
I'm pretty sure this would run on like any PC as well, because it's so basic.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So yeah, £2.
Cool. All right. Sean, on to you then. Have you got anything else?
I have been playing Windjammers 2.
I have also. That's been the sort of only new game that I've been playing this week.
I mean, yeah. So obviously we played this together. We did a bit with Joe and Sam over the weekend, didn't we?
Played it before then, yeah.
You did, sorry, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and after, actually. So my friend Chris, who had never heard of Windjammers, we played it together while we were waiting for our other friend to come on so we could play Pro Clubs. That other friend is John. I don't know why I referred to him as my
mysterious other friend shall not be named.
So we sort of stuck it on and we went, we'll give this a go, see what it's like. Sean likes it. John likes it, more importantly. I was playing it and I was thinking, this is all right. This is a fun time, I guess. And then after like 2 games, I was like, oh, fucking come on! And it got its hooks in. I think since then, I think the ultimate, we spoke about it last week, so I don't have to go into too much detail, but I think my ultimate takeaway from it right now, where I'm at, because I'm still going to be playing this game, and I have a feeling my opinions are going to change, but there's part of me saying there's 2 sort of things holding me back from saying this is an all-timer that I'm going to be playing for years, right? The first being that I think some of the moves are bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Like, which I'm hoping that the more I play it, the more I get better equipped to deal with them. But like that spike one you were using the other day, I was like, that is giving me less than, like, that's giving me a millisecond to try and work out where that disc is going. You just see the crosshair flash up and then the disc is there.
It's weird because I absolutely agree, but you'll have to speak to Joe because he started like reliably catching those.
Well, this is it, isn't it?
Because he must have figured something out.
The one saving grace that I got is that we played it around Sam's, and you've played it a hell of a lot, and Joe's played it a hell of a lot, and you both were constantly beating us. So that sort of gives me the hope that, so they've been playing this game. They're better than us, right? So there's not enough bullshit in it for it to be hey, you've got a chance here, because that would kind of kill it for me. Yeah. But the other thing is that it's such a nearly game. They did what feels like the hard part right, and I'm not saying that online infrastructure is easy, and it perhaps it is hard. I don't know enough about game development, but it feels like the game feels so good, and when you play it online, it feels like the netcode feels incredible. Like we've been playing it, not a hint of lag, anything like that. It just feels silky smooth. But it's like, if there's 3 of us online and we want to play Windjammers, there's no easy way of doing that.
Yeah, you're fucked.
And you mentioned it last week about how it needs lobbies and winner stays on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If it had that, we would spend hours on end playing it. Like, it just seems so made for that. And it's weird because it's 2022 and it feels so dated because it hasn't catered for that scenario or scenarios like that. Or, you look at something like Rocket League, which is a game that comes up when people talk about this game, because there are certain similarities that you can make between the two. Like, for example, they're a game that seems straightforward. You know exactly who's the winner, who's the loser throughout the game. It makes it clear what you're supposed to do, but there's this level of depth there that, as I said, when you're playing people that have played for a while, they'll beat you, right? And this game has that stuff. Yet with Rocket League, it feels there are so many options there to mix things up if you want to. If there's a number of people online, granted, it doesn't have a winner stays on mode, but if there's 4 of you, for example, that want to play, you can just play a mayhem-like game. There are tournaments if you know that you're going to be there for a long time. There are solo games, duels, and the standard, the free-player game. It feels like there's enough options there to make it a viable option if there's a group of you. Even if there's 8 of you, you could set up a private match with 4-on-4, Whereas, like, here, it's kind of like, you will play this game with one other person, and that is all.
That's it.
And you can arrange it so that you quit out and then play the next person, but you kind of want to watch the game as it's going on and stuff.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It feels so nearly to be in an all-timer that I will go back to on it. Like, I will get the bug and want to play every night, but it falls down just a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
There's no co-op play at all, is there? Like, I can't.
There isn't, because you would think doubles would work.
Yes,
theoretically,
perfect. Because I'm sick of getting beaten by my mates all the time. So being part of a team just seems perfect for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Make the stages wider, so the stages bigger, and then a doubles doubles matches, rank matches would just be perfect. But I will say this, like, the game, I think the art style and the look of the game is so fucking good that it's worth just downloading just to check out how it looks. And I mean, obviously it's of a style that some people would just be instantly turned off by, but as a person that sort of loves those old school 2D looks when they're done well, this just blew me away when I was playing it. I just thought, like, that animation, what's going on outside the ring or the court or whatever.
Yeah, just loads of little details and stuff. Like, in the
it's
crowd
really good, isn't it? Like, the character design in each character just seems so well done. Picking a character that when they lose, they sort of turn their back on the opponent, but then picking another character and watching them bawl their eyes out when they lose. It's like, I love all that stuff.
I presume you're playing this on Xbox, yeah, Dave?
I am.
Yeah.
How has anyone
Game
played
Pass,
it
James?
on Switch? Like, what's it like on there?
Oh, it's fine on Switch. I've got it on Switch as well. It's spot on.
James, let's play on Xbox.
Yeah, I'll give it definitely give it a go. Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a few sessions of it on Xbox. I think you'll like it. Once you understand the rules, I'll try and tell you as much as I can, really. But there's still a lot that I don't know. I haven't quite nailed the flicking it up in the air thing. But John had absolutely tearing me apart. And
hang on, is it that kind of game though? Like, where once you've kind of mastered it, you're unbeatable sort of thing?
No, not at all.
No. But I beat John. one game I beat him. And I said that I said this about Chris because Chris and I, we're very competitive with each other. Let's put it that way.
Are you?
And yeah, I don't know if you've noticed the WhatsApp group, Matt, but we are quite competitive. And when I say competitive, I mean we wind each other up. Not that we're not on an even playing field. He will smash me at pretty much every game we play. However, I got one win out of the 7 games we played, and I know how much he hated that. Like that absolutely. He was more angry at losing that one game than I was at losing the other 6. It was also we found out. I don't know if you've noticed this, Sean. Mm-hmm. It feels like, because I don't understand the time limit on it. I don't get that. I think that is completely anti that game. Like, surely you want long rallies, right?
Yeah. Plus, I suppose you could say, well, it's to stop you just holding on to the disc, but then it incentivizes that anyway, because if you hold on to it for more than a split second, then you get a really slow throw.
Yeah,
which no
throws
one
it really slowly, right? Yeah. So the timer I don't get. So what we were doing was doing infinite time, 5 games to win, I think it was best 3 out of 5 games, and then 21 points instead of the 15, because it just felt like some of the arenas or whatever, you get 5 points. That's a third of your way to a win. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, especially that casino level, if you got you're throwing the 8-pointer around as well.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ludicrous.
So yeah, we were kind of. Also, I'm not sure I'm totally on board with the rubber banding either.
Go on.
So if your character is falling behind, say it's at first 15 and you're 10-0 down, you throw out a lot harder.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, that's a bit weird, isn't it, for a competitive game like this?
I suppose it's never really upset me. Maybe because I'm usually the one on the back foot, so I'm like, fucking. Because and there's that one stage as well where it adjusts the size of your 5-point goal zone as well.
Oh, does it really?
I think it's the stadium one where if you're scoring consistently, then it starts making your 5-point zone huge, so the other person's more likely to be able to get a 5-pointer.
Yeah, I don't know where I sit with that. Surely, again,
I think it's similar to the casino level. I think that stage will probably not be allowed at tournaments and stuff. But then the rubber banding's in there whether you like it or not.
Weird. But other than that, I mean, it sounds like I'm being negative about the game. I'm not. I'm really enjoying it. I think I need to break through a barrier at the moment. Not even a barrier. I just need to play it more and get to the next level and understand it in a deeper way. That's where it feels like I'm going with that. So I'm looking forward to playing more Windjammers.
We should play that this week, Dave, because I'd like to give it a go.
Yeah, do it, man. For that, James.
You'll like it. I think you'll like it.
I think you'll like it, James.
So I downgraded that from certain to I think you'll like it.
Yeah, you might like it.
You won't hate it.
That's probably it, isn't it? We spoke about it a lot last week. I've got a feeling we're going to be speaking about it a lot in the coming weeks. So, James, it's down to you now, my friend.
I will download it.
Hang on, I got one up. I got one more, mate.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Judgment. Yes, you have. Sorry, I missed that in the middle there.
Yeah, I've been playing Judgment, the Yakuza spin-off, but very much its own thing. So this is weird, right? Because I've been keeping an eye on the Series S and X version for a while, because I bought it on PS4 ages ago. Never touched it. And then obviously got the Series S, and I was like, I'd rather play it on this if I can. I'd rather not pay full price for it. So I've been keeping an eye on it being in the sale. And obviously the sequel, Lost Judgment, came out last year. And then in the Christmas sale, Lost Judgment was on sale, but Judgment wasn't. And I was like, well, I'm not going to buy the sequel.
Was it cheap? Was the sequel cheaper than the original?
Yes.
Wow, that's mad.
That's
weird. I think it was. Or it brought it down to the same price as the original, possibly. But so I was like, well, I'm not really going to buy that if I'm not, currently don't have an avenue to play the original. So I'll leave it. And then, in the day when it transitioned from the Christmas sale into the New Year sale, Lost Judgment stopped being on sale and Judgment started being on sale. And it's like, well, if I'd known the first game was going to be on sale as well, I'd have bought them both.
Yeah.
Probably. But anyway, never mind. So I bought Judgment on sale on the Series S, and I love it. It's proper good. It's fascinating because I know like Yakuza 0 obviously is the only one I've really played. I then went on to Kiwami and like enjoyed what I played, but I did it too soon after 0, and I was like, right, this is really cool, but I'll come back to it another time. But like 0's not that old, right? It's only what, 4 or 5 years old, something like that.
Yeah, it's about that. Yeah.
When Judgment is 3 years old, I think the first Judgment, or 2 or 3 years old, and I mean the difference in tech is unbelievable. Like the fact that, so like I mean, Dave, I remember you mentioning this, like in Yakuza 0, like the amount of invisible walls everywhere. Like you can't walk into any buildings. Like there's some alleys you can't really go down, or like little stairwells and stuff that's just like not happening. There's none of that in Judgment. It's all open.
The screenshots that I've seen make it look really good.
Yeah, man. And 99% of the time, there's no point in pursuing, or going down little nooks and crannies and stuff. But it just makes the place feel that much more believable.
Yeah, it's not
much
the
more
point,
alive,
is it?
doesn't it? Which is
it really does.
The one of the problems that I had with Yakuza 0 is that the world. Everyone was saying, "Oh, the world, it's great to explore and everything," and I just kind of felt actually this just feels really video gamey to me, and I think it is because of those moments. The bits where you're like, oh, what's down here? Oh, I can't go down there. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so Judgment totally does away with that. Like you can go down all those places. And little things like getting into fights, there's none of that sort of, right, hang on, here's a little cutscene while the game figures out how the fight's going to play out, or and then the little cutscene, or just like little break afterwards where it's like, here's your scoreboard, and then you transition back through. Like that's all seamless.
There's also not like an excessive number of them either. It's nowhere near as bad. I mean, sorry to just get in here, but I've been playing Yakuza 5 actually. Like I went back to that. And because it's one of the only ones I haven't played, and I've played through the whole of like the first part of that, and it gets absolutely ridiculous, like in terms of just random battles. I felt like I was playing like a JRPG. Like it was like just seriously just walking down the street a couple of steps and you got somebody like starting on you, and it's just like repeatedly, and I was starting to get really hacked off with it. It was so I've stopped for a bit.
Because I think that lack of transitions into the fights, like as well as just feeling cool because it's much more seamless, is the fact that like you can be sprinting down the street, and then if you see like someone's about to start on you, that you just fucking run at them and do a fucking jumping kick at them, and that's how the fight starts.
See, this is making it sound so much better. Like all the problems that I had with the last one.
Yeah,
maybe this is the one for me.
Could be.
I think you probably get more out of this one than the others. I think because the story's pretty good as well in this one. So
I mean, I've just done the trial, James. And I'm properly intrigued about where the story's going. And just like in general, I mean, Yakumi's not as cool a character as Kiryu was. Or not yet, maybe he'll improve. But it is really cool playing a detective who, can kick the shit out of people. That's not necessarily his primary goal, although it does inevitably happen quite a lot. But the fact that like he can intimidate like criminals because he used to be a lawyer, it can be like start spelling out exactly how long their prison sentence is going to be if they because of all the shit they're up to, and little those little scenes are really cool. And just generally doing sort of detective stuff, like going to crime scenes and examining things. I really like the fact that when you're questioning people, it's like, right, here's a bunch of options. And typically, dialogue trees in video games, you want to exhaust every single option. Whereas this actually rewards you for, asking questions in such a way that shows like a clarity of thinking. Like you knew what you needed to know first. And there are bonuses for getting that right, which I thought is really cool. Like, you're never going to fuck it up because you can just ask all the questions eventually, but you're rewarded for being able to pinpoint the most important stuff.
Have you got to the drone stuff?
I haven't yet. Well, I've done the bit of the surveillance, but I've not done the racing yet.
Even the surveillance, that was the part of the game I didn't enjoy. I really hated the drone.
Go on, why? Just out of interest.
I just found it uncontrollable. I just found it really irritating to control.
Well, I'm delighted to be able to inform you, James, that it's very true to life.
Brilliant.
Yeah, like as I was doing the drone bit, I was like, yeah, this is how fucking annoying they are to fly around. Yeah, so I thought that was actually incredibly well observed by the developers. I mean, I don't know how the racing's going to go, but that's still locked off.
See, I never even did that because I was just like, I hated doing that, and I was like, do you imagine doing that, like racing them with that control scheme?
I'm assuming because the racing drone is very different. So they behave very differently to like camera drones. So it'd be interesting to see how they've implemented that. I'm really keen to try it. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a slow burner. Obviously, it's one I'm dipping in and out of, among other things. But I'm really enjoying it so far, and it does seem to address like a lot of the things you didn't like, Dave. I mean, the combat is still what it is. I know you didn't like the combat in Yakuza 0, but I don't know. That seamlessness really goes a long way.
Yeah, the seamlessness might, because I think the point with the Yakuza 0 problems that I had, like there's a bit early on in that game where you're like climbing a building and you're getting into fight after fight, and that felt okay. It was the ones where I was just like walking about, and then it was just they're there, and it's hard, and then you go into that cutscene, you go into this. Yeah, it just felt like it was dragging me out of what I wanted to do. So if that's a little bit more integrated.
That's the holdover, isn't it, from the RPG style of doing things? That's how you have to upgrade your character and all that, and it is ridiculous.
And it's probably, like, so obviously, Yakuza originally being like a PS2 game, it's probably the PS2 going, right, cutscene, and then we can clear all the pedestrians out of the way. Like it's doing stuff behind the scenes, whereas it just doesn't really need to do that so much now. The localization is incredible. I thought like, am I going to be a dick if I play this with the English voices on? No, they're really well done. Like the acting's all spot on. It's really nicely done, I thought.
Shit. Okay.
Go on.
It would be the one I'd recommend, I think, to anybody who'd never played any of these. It's a really good place to start.
Yeah, I played the first few hours, Dave, and even I was enjoying it. So you should, I'm sure you will.
I mean, I don't know if it's still on. I presume it's not still on sale.
That'll be on Game Pass soon, won't it? Next week, they'll both be on Game Pass.
Not after Nintendo have bought Sega, Dave.
Why do you think this series hasn't been on Game Pass, James?
I don't know. I mean, Yakuza has, although it came off
Yakuza,
Game Pass recently.
Why not the Judgment?
But they started, Yakuza started slipping off, hasn't it? Because that's the thing.
They were quite new when that deal was done, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I played a fair bit of Kiwami, but that's gone now. I'd have to buy it to carry on. I sort of wish I had, to be honest, because I do want to go back.
If I get the Xbox version, does that include the upgrade to the Series X version or whatever?
I don't know.
I think it's listed separately.
Okay.
But yeah, there is a Series X version.
All right.
It's very good. Like it. Oh, and the fact that like when you're in fights, you can just like put people through fucking shop windows and stuff, and they like smash through the tables and everything. It's hilarious. Good game. Like it.
All right. Okay. James, did you have anything else? Did you put Dark Souls down as a gag?
That was just down there as a joke, really. I mean, I'm still playing it, and kind of enjoying it. I didn't enjoy it last week, but yeah, in general, it's still good.
How far are you into the game?
It's only £20 on Amazon. This game.
Oh, Judgment.
The first one, yeah.
Is that the upgraded version? Yeah.
The PS5 or Xbox Series X version. Yeah.
Cool. You can trade it in if you don't like it.
True. I'll consider it.
James, how far into Dark Souls 2 do you think you are?
I have no idea. I mean, some people
quite a way through, aren't you?
I don't know. I mean, I was doing like 2 bosses a week for like quite a few weeks, so it feels like, I mean, I say on the stream, it feels like I've been playing the game for 5 years. It's I mean, in a good way, generally. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how close I am to the end. I've no idea at all.
You're not interested in Elden Ring then?
Not really. Not yet.
Wow.
I mean, maybe later.
Do you know, I've come to terms with not being interested in Elden Ring.
Okay. All right.
I've tried to avoid all news about Elden Ring, but I'm sure it'd be good, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh no, like it will be good. Like I'm not. Yeah, this is just me. So I was just like, when I played the beta, and I said on the show, like, do you know what? There's as many things that like pleasantly surprised me as things that I was like, oh right, it's Dark Souls again. But I don't know. Yeah, the other week I was just like, I don't need it. don't need the hassle in my life. But I mean, it will be great. It will be. Really
I can't deal with the intimidation of playing a game like that anymore. Yeah. I kind of done with it. All right, okay. That's it. Okay. That's what we've been playing. Let's get to questions.
Let's. If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/deartcgs. The Spirit Specialist says, hello, gents. Since arriving on Game Pass, I've been slowly working my way through Death's Door, which is an utterly brilliant game but tests my patience on irregular occasions due to the harsh but absolutely fair difficulty level. I have enough stresses in my life, brackets 3 kids, running my own liquor store, and being 40, that I can do without even more raising of blood pressure, but luckily I've been able to sense when I need to take a break from the game to chill for a bit. So what I do now is flick across to Burnout Revenge, which I picked up in the recent sale for a £5 and is my personal favourite Burnout. I love the traffic checking system, which they never really ran with in future sequels. And when it originally came out in 2006, I was nigh on obsessed with it for months. I've got a load of banging dance tunes on a USB stick, which I play in the background and mindlessly crash into stuff at high speed for an hour before either going back to Death's Door with a clear head or going to bed. Matt has recently talked about looking for a comfort game, and Burnout Revenge is absolutely this for me. But I wonder if you've had a pair of diametrically opposed games in terms of style, content, or pacing that you've been able to switch between to maximise the enjoyment of both. Appreciate you all, Ben Bowers, aka the Spirit Specialist.
Good question. I would say currently it's probably... Well, it's either like if I'm getting frustrated with Halo, FIFA, or Rocket League, I'll either switch to a little bit of Tetris Effect or what is that game? The one with the squares and that. That's a bit like Tetris.
Lumines,
yeah, Lumines HD. That's on Game Pass. I've been playing a bit of that as well.
Yeah.
Although that's the game sessions in that are way too long. I think.
Yeah.
It's like 20 minutes, and you're just like, you still haven't unlocked the next thing.
That's always been my problem with Luminous, is that I'm always like, am I doing the right thing? I'm like, what's going on? I'm just...
Yeah. And they're shining. Right, okay, fine. But
all right.
Come on now. Yeah. But still, it'll, after a month of not playing it, I'm like, yeah, it's shining, yeah. So I'll still play every now and then, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
I can't think of any recent ones, but I definitely remember back in the day. So I was playing Far Cry 2 and Fable 2 at the same time. And that was like, because Far Cry 2 is stressful as fuck. Like, it's brilliant, but it's really stressful. So, so when that would get too much, stick Fable on and just run around lightning the fuck out of people for a bit.
You're going around, you're going, oh no, I've got malaria, I'm going to die, all my weapons are fucking jammed, or I'll just turn this game on, a bibbly bum, little prince, what are we going to doobly-doo, over have a dog.
Exactly,
I see that. That's a good idea. What's happened to Fable? Why haven't we heard about that yet?
Well, we will do.
It's coming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come on, Playground, get a move on.
I know they're listening.
How hard is it to make a game? Not at
all,
I'd say.
I know they're listening. Yeah? Come on. Give us an exclusive. Send us a little voicemail or say it. Come on. We want to know what's going on.
We won't play it on the show or anything, I promise.
Is that how it works? That's how IGN do it, right?
It is exactly like that, yeah.
Got it.
Just go around begging. That's what Joe says. Masahiro Sakurai says, hello computer game people, despite wishing to retire last year, Nintendo will not allow me to leave the building until I've added 4 new fighters to the latest Super Smash Bros. Game. Unfortunately, I'm flat out of ideas, so I'm currently in the process of implementing you all as characters.
Good.
I must ask for your help in reclaiming my freedom by letting me know what each of your final Smash attacks would be. Would they have a name, and what would they involve you doing? The DLC will of course be free, because I don't think anybody would pay for this. Thank you, and please send help.
Just like shouting fuck really loud.
Swearing. I don't know if they'd allow that in Smash Brothers.
Oh, come on, Smash Brothers, loosen up, yeah? What are you fucking boffing?
Yeah, chill out.
Oh, mind you, so part of our weekend away, well, it wasn't one for you, you're only invited to the daytime proceedings, weren't you, Dave? And Sam kicked you the fuck out.
Yeah, that was a bit rude. Come to lunch with us, come to lunch. I turned up for lunch and everyone's talking about staying over. And I was like, what? You can stay over if you want. Well, I haven't prepared for this. What? I didn't know it was an option.
So Sam's had a shitload. So they moved house last year, and they've had a shitload of work going on in the house, including a new bathroom, which it transpired doesn't have a door on it. Which
I've got a door.
God.
I've got a door.
Which is, well, James, you'll be happy to hear they don't have any curtains either.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, what did it tell them? The question I asked you, because you had stayed over the night before I arrived, and what was my first question when we were, chatting?
I can't remember. What was it?
What if you really need a poo in there, Sean? Because Sam was there with his wife.
Yeah.
So what? And you went.
Well, this
I
is
already
it.
have
So
done.
basically, the arrangement was that basically, if anyone needed a shit, you had to just tell everyone else, and no one else could go upstairs for the duration. Which, let me tell you, made me keenly aware once again of how long I take to have a shit.
Mate, I'd take a while.
So I think my final smash would just be me sat on a bog for ages.
When you
just in the middle of the stage,
put a curtain up in the meantime, though. That's my thing. Like, just
What, in
drape
the
a curtain
doorway?
over the
Just over the doorway.
Yeah.
Would it be one as like
Well,
being
like,
one?
He was otherwise a wonderful host, so I wasn't going to start being like, why haven't you done this?
Incredible host. The place is absolutely lovely as well. But I'm just saying, and also, or if not one of those, then do you remember when you were a kid and then you went round like an uncle's house or whatever, and then they had just like beads on string hanging down the doorway? The fuck was that about?
I don't remember that.
Was it to keep flies out or something? Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't believe that. I think a fly could get through that.
Time to interrogate that now that we're grown-ups.
Yeah,
I think we
should
need
look
to find
into
out the
it.
truth.
Or bring them back.
Because isn't it, apparently it's some bullshit like, it's not that the flies can't fly through it, it's that they perceive it as a wall. Someone tried to tell me that one.
Flies, aren't they?
Flies.
Stupid.
Oh,
Twats.
fucking morons, mate.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah. Little do they know. What if a fly gets in through the back door and then can't get out of the kitchen? Because it's like, well, there's a wall
Trapped.
there.
Yeah.
I have to go out the way it came.
Didn't think of that, did they? Didn't think of it.
Didn't.
Go on.
Anyone else? Final smashes?
Where did that go? Oh, yeah, Smash.
I don't know.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
we went on the right
to all the
tangent
listeners, sorry to talk about me sitting on the toilet for ages. So I didn't really. Didn't even
your
really
special
answer
move,
the question.
Your special move is having a shit, is it?
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah.
James's confusion over whether his comments are sarcastic or not. Is that your special move, James?
I was thinking something like, curtains appear around the other character, there's a booming in the beginning, and then like a big explosion or something.
Surely there's the opposite.
Like
curtains don't appear around the character.
I've got
for 6
curtains
months.
everywhere now.
But a bit late. That one's on a delay. You activate your special move, and it turns up a month later.
Some curtains appear, and then they sort of drape over each of the other contestants in the order of how much you love them, from most to least.
Asher didn't notice.
Asher's knee never gets curtains.
I think for James is that he does a special move, all the lights go out because there's no light bulb in the arena.
And it comes up romance on the screen.
It's just one little
some sexy
light
music
bulb hanging from the ceiling and some mist.
Just some mist, yeah.
Yeah.
What's yours, Matt?
Mine would be umming someone into oblivion. Just like you go, and then they get blasted off the stage.
Okay.
That's all it takes. It's an audio.
I thought the electric skateboard would have been in there somewhere.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, you'd hope, wouldn't you?
Forget about that, yeah. Yeah, that's possible.
I forget about that.
I haven't used it in so long.
Okay.
Wrecked Reese says, "Dear teenage cute ginger squirtles, what's the most difficult game you think you'd be able to complete if the protagonist was replaced by you and your real world abilities only?"
Any game, basically.
Yeah.
So you've got to be able to complete it. So whatever skills I have, I still have to have completed the game.
What do you mean?
Well, it says, what would you be able to complete if it was replaced by you? So however hard the game is, I've still got to be able to successfully complete the game.
You've got to be able to beat the
what's the most difficult one? Yeah, so track
but
and
it's just
field.
you're just the main character.
Track and field wouldn't... No, you'd be alright in Monkey Ball, wouldn't you, James?
What, rolling
Just
back
you
in one
in
of
a
those
ball.
balls?
Yeah.
That would be great,
You don't
wouldn't
actually
it?
have to do
Zorbing
anything,
around.
Just be rattling around inside the ball, just being
that's
sick.
the thing, I'd trip over and then fall about in the ball. It'd be
But
awful.
that happens anyway.
Have you ever been zorbing? Go zorbing, and then we'll find out for real if you can handle
I
it.
love to do zorbing. It looks well
I'm
good
just
fun.
imagining though, the stock answers of Super Mario Brothers or whatever. Just trying to climb up on one of those blocks would be a hassle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, you do your back in, wouldn't you, James?
Yeah.
About the heavy rain, I think we'd all be good in heavy rain. We could do heavy rain.
Sounds like a fucking nightmare.
I mean, straight swap. Straight swap.
They wouldn't even notice.
My answer for me would be Gears of War. Gears of War, probably.
Yeah, you do that.
Skills, yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Chainsaw in
Running around with
that.
chainsaw gun.
Yeah.
Gears of War, probably for me. I think
probably for me, Sega Rally. Probably Windjammers Rally.
I've seen you driving. Absolutely not. I've seen you in cars.
No, I think definitely. I'm out of control in a car. I think definitely.
Yeah, you were definitely out of control in the car.
I need
and then
someone to my
blaming
left
the car.
saying like warning K right, etc. But I think I could do it.
Yeah, I think it would have to
be
be
James.
What?
James, James, are you good with a map?
Yeah, I can do map.
Oh, brilliant.
Can
Okay,
you say,
you're my co-driver.
I can do map.
I can do map.
Do map. That's the title.
100% I could do map.
Hi, James. Welcome to your job interview. What's positives about your work? I could do map. Okay, you're hired. Sean, have you had an answer? Bayonetta?
Can you do map?
Well, I had to be Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Outfit. Well, I mean, I haven't got enough hair to cover my own fucking head, Dave. Never mind the rest of my body. So
your special move. It'd be the tiniest hair fist punching an enemy you've ever seen in your life.
No, I'd have to just grow it out like sideways. So I'd have this bald patch on top still, but it'd like. But all the sideways hair would be like whipping round and punching people and stuff.
Also, Bayonetta's outfit is made of hair, so you'd just be butt naked as well.
That's the thing, it's supposed to like hide her shame. And you wouldn't be able to do that.
But I'd still have like the heel guns, and I'd just be like,
hide her shame, James. You're fucking 80 years old. I swear to God, hide her shame.
Yeah, Bayonetta. That's
Oh dear.
Hide her shame. I've not heard that for fucking years. And when
as if it's a very outdated
it's in a black
thing
and white film.
Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCG, Scotty, beam me up." That's good. That's a twist. I like that. I've always wanted to get friends into the Xbox 360's cave shooters, but their salacious covers make them difficult to gift, especially Moochie Moochie Pork. What do you think is the sauciest gaming console based purely on hearsay about its library? Keep up the superb work.
Switch.
There's some bad stuff on Switch.
Have you seen the filth on the thing? It's ridiculous.
I was going to say, because the Vita...
seen this filth.
The Vita was
Who else downloaded this filth?
The Vita had loads of like saucy anime stuff on it.
Yeah, but it's all on the Switch now. It's like
it's all moved over. That's where that community's gone.
Yeah,
lovely.
It's mad that the Switch has gone down that route, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Like considering, there was a good sort of 6 months where it's like, oh my god, Nintendo are like curating the fuck out of the eShop.
Yeah, the eShop's
amazing. And now
really
there's like any old shit on there.
Curated it for perverts,
but not that game about trying to have a crafty wank in the back of a taxi. That was too much.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Literally a game on a Nintendo console where you got to try and have a wank in the back of a cab without getting caught.
Those are the days before Uber ratings, though, because you're going to get destroyed if you get caught doing that.
Yeah.
That's a 1 star for me.
Last question. It's from MD Krabuffs. What is the worst thing you've left to the last minute?
The news for this show.
Well, no, that paid off because there was shit kept happening.
It's true, yeah.
Picking the kids up from school.
Oh, yeah.
2 reasons. 1, you never get a parking space. 2, sometimes you leave it so bad to the last minute you forget, and then get a phone call from the school and say, your child is still here, where are you?
Yeah. Do you not love them? That was happened.
I've done that once. That was awkward. I didn't even get a phone call from the school. I got a phone call from Jo saying she got a phone call from the school.
Oh,
that's so bad.
Grassed you up.
I felt awful.
A belter. I mean, university coursework in general, I don't think I handed anything in that hadn't been done basically overnight the night before.
Yeah, I do it all the time, though. It's annoying. And what's annoying is because I always get it done, then I think, well, I can leave it to the last minute because I've never not got it done when I've had to do it. But
yeah, that's the worst part. Is it actually goes all right, and then you're like, oh, well, this is the way to do things then.
Yeah. I've never failed if I left it last minute, so I'm not stressed because I know I will just do it somehow.
I ended up, like, just to keep me, like, to Like, so I'm not a complete fucking mess at work. I've now learned to like make people give me deadlines. Like, someone asks me to do something, and they're just like, "Oh, just whenever you get round to it." I'm like, "No, give me a deadline." Oh, there isn't one. I'm like, "Make one up. Tell me there is a date where you are going to check if I've done this or not, because I will not fucking do it otherwise."
Oh God, you sound like a delight to work with.
Yep.
Although I have been in several situations where you've got 14 jobs on the go and they're all saying that it needs to be done ASAP.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Just
bollocks, innit?
stop it. James,
Yeah.
curtains, is it? Curtains? Last thing?
Yeah, definitely curtains, yeah.
That can't be the worst thing.
No, telling me when you're going to come over with your whole family. Is that leaving that to last minute? That was
for fuck's sake.
We're near the end, James. It's all right. You'll be done for
I
another
left my
week.
groom's speech until the day of the wedding or night.
Did
before.
that?
I
Scares
don't
the
even know
shit
why,
out of
really.
me.
Yeah,
and
I
in the
couldn't
end, I
handle
just
that.
freestyled it. So, but
I mean, because I wrote and rehearsed mine, and then on the day binned all the notes and did it from the heart, mate. Obviously, what you ended up with was like a 90% what I'd rehearsed, and then a few bits off the cuff. But yeah,
What was the best gag said in your wedding speeches?
I did a
what,
great.
our own wedding speeches.
I did a great piece.
No, it could be
with-
like from someone else at your wedding as well. What was the greatest gag?
I mean, you wrote all the ones that Sam said in his best man speech.
Yeah,
at my
that's what I
wedding.
want. I want a little bit of praise here.
That's
No,
why
I was just
asking
thinking because
Sean.
my brother said, we all know Joe's a Tottenham fan. I knew there must have been a reason why she was wearing white today. I thought that was quite good. Clever. Humour. Didn't get the same reaction. Shame.
Same how last today as you did on the day.
What was some of the ones on yours? I wonder if I've still got your best man speech on Google Docs.
Have you?
I think I might have,
Somewhere.
I'm going to have a quick look. You have a...
Can we do the socials while you're doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on then. Do you think James wants to go?
It's 20 past 12, man.
So, stream. So, Thursday night, Sean is continuing Nuzlocke, Stock, and 2 Slow King Barbarackles. That's Twitch. Thursday night at 9 p.m.
Oh, there was some drama this week. I fucking lost Ghastly Dooton. It was a bad week. But we're coming back strong. It's going to be fine.
So, if you missed last week's stream on Stream Before, you can go to our YouTube channel and search for Nuzlocke, Stock, and 2 Slow King Barbarackles. That's Thursday night at 9, live on Twitch. Friday night from 9, James is streaming Dark Souls 2. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime Gaming. With that, you get 1 free subscription that you can give to any channel, and you can't keep it for yourself. So why not go over to our channel and connect your accounts, give us your free sub. We really massively appreciate it. It's just a benefit you get if you have Amazon Prime and connect your Twitch account. It's a lovely old job. So thank you if you do that already, and if you don't, we'd really appreciate if you did. As I just said, if you missed the streams live, search for TCGS on YouTube. They're all there. Back on the Dark Souls tip, this Friday, Dark Souls is out, episode 29, The Four Kings, and apparently the show hits a low after James hits a brick wall. That's Friday morning, that's out.
Sounds about right.
They are
we've also
absolute
got
fuckers.
Epic Game Store creator code. Enter TCGS when you make a purchase on the Epic Game Store, and apparently be a kickback. Patreon.com/TCGS is our Patreon page if you want to support what we do over here. Get an exclusive monthly podcast as well, or become a full Nails member. Be there for live talk servers, you name it. There's a bunch of stuff over there. And TCGS.co is the website for links to our socials, all our podcasts we do, our beautiful Discord, and our store.
What year did you get married, Sean?
Oh, fuck. Was it 2017?
Okay.
Was it 16? No, it was 16.
16. There's some of the stuff I've looked down in my Google Docs is absolutely I don't want to click to open them. I've got sitcom ideas.
Oh no.
Stand-up comedy ideas.
You have imagined upstairs, downstairs with.
I mean, there's loads. There's one file here that says Matt/Farley fuck up. Should I have a look at that?
How big's the
before we
folder?
go?
I mean, there could be a lot of things
it
in
just
that
says
file.
Matt
20
Farley fuck up. Joe knows, so does Harry. Shop 2 email, PSVR. Places I nearly saw news. BBC website, which is right, okay. This must be
E3.
E3. Places I nearly saw news. YouTube, Vine, Xbox Dashboard.
Why don't you save all this for a Patreon show?
Because a lot of this I can't read out. There's even some of the titles you're like, yeah, that's a 2013 title to a document. Not going into that on a show. Yeah. But I can't see anything. Then I've got it saved somewhere, Sean, because I sent it over to Sam. So it might even be in my Gmail. Maybe that's the Patreon bonus show.
Well, that can't be February's Patreon show, as that's taken care of, shall we say.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll do that another month, shall we? We're done. You're not on the show next week.
That's correct. Right? Yeah, I'm not here next week.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, right, yeah, I've got your speech in full written down in front of me right now, Sean. We're reading that out on a bonus show. So, you're not on the show next week. Sarah Dyer is returning to the fold. We're looking forward to it. And thank you so much for living it this week. We'll catch you next week.
You will.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.